for the long run, strap in for a long one. We got everybody on one. Now you coming at the king, so you better not miss. And we only get stronger with everything I carry up on my back. You should paint it up with a target. Why would you dare me to do it again? Come get your spoiler, but we're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, look at you coming on, name you ought to know by now that we're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, maybe you wonder what your future's gonna be, but I got it all locked up. Take a lap now, don't be mad now. Run it back, run it back. I got bodies lining up, think you're dreaming of greatness. Send you back home, let you wake up. Why would you dare me to do it again? Come and get your spoiler up ahead. We're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, look at you coming on, name you ought to know by now that we're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, maybe you wonder what your future's gonna be, but I got it all locked up.
在以后，除了剩下着还有其他吗？我左右，键盘琵琶在时间滴答着，还不够。你的固执让我来守候，哪怕太迟也不想以后。就在这时放肆的打斗。I got the heart of a lion, I know the harder you climb, the harder you fall. I'm at the top of the mountain, too many bodies to count. I've been through it all. I had to weather the storm to get to the level I'm on. That's how the legend was born. All of my enemies already dead. I'm born, I'm ready for war. They know I'm ready for war. I told them we're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, look at you coming, my name you ought to know by now that we're taking over. Hey, maybe you wonder what your future's gonna be, but I got it all locked up.
Welcome back, everybody. We have another series for you tonight. Series 1 was back and forth, but in the end, a 2-0. This one promises to be a fair bit closer. We've got Cerberus, the big doggies, taking on Team Secret, who are desperate to fight back after a pathetic week 1. With me, as always, are Rebel and Vinny. And Rebel, we'll start with you. What's your impression of this matchup?
It's kind of tough to say. Again, I made mention of it at the beginning of the stream that I don't think Cerberus has been operating on full power at minimum without ego if they think that Pawn is better. And Team Secret came out with a kind of a rough loss to Saigon Buffalo because of the resilience of Saigon, but their team didn't change all too much. In fact, if anything, I expected them to improve. So this might be their chance to actually come back out and prove themselves. One rough loss to a team that's relatively new, a strategy maybe you're not accustomed to, versus a team that maybe you're a lot more well prepared for.
Now, we're not 100% sure if Ego is still sick. From a few of the insiders in our Discord, some of the players have said that he's not going to be playing. we're not 100% sure on that, but apparently Fook will still be playing because Ego is still sick. Not great. He must be pretty sick if he's out for this long, but get well. Vinny, what do you think of this matchup?
I mean, in their losses, Fook one wasn't the problem. He was absolutely fine. But the problem really was the mental game coming out from Cerberus. They sort of, once they started losing, they kept losing, and they weren't really able to pull themselves back into it. The one exception being Artemis, who was absolutely a stud. He was 1v9ing in the losses. He was smashing in their wins. Really impressive stuff out of them. I think the big factor in this game, though, is going to be the top lane, because Pun looked really bad up against Hasmed, and I think Coach may be able to do the exact same sort of thing.
I think so. But let's kind of talk about a few matchups, because Secret made some waves with some of their pickups. Where do you think these teams match up, and where do you think the breakpoints are going to be, Rebel?
I agree very much with Vinny in talking about what happened in the top lane, because I think that Coded is just better than Pun. If Pun is playing today, I think that's a severe mistake. I don't know why LL hasn't been starting the entire time as it is. Slater is an exceptionally good ADC. We've seen that plenty of times before in the past, and getting him onto Team Secret, I thought, might have been the actual key to this team becoming not just like a perennial playoff team, but also just like a top 3 potential contender, even for number 1. We haven't seen too much of that yet from Slater. Perhaps this is his chance to play against Artemis. So this Slater versus Artemis matchup is certain to be a really good one. Couple that with mid lane, where I mean you have Yedo versus Artifact, who are both also very, very good, probably top 4 contenders for their position here in the VCS as well. I'm sure we're going to have good matchups at both of the carry positions.
We should. Vinny, what's some of your thoughts?
I think the bot lane is going to be pretty much a wash. Both bot lanes are filled with fantastic players, and I think for the most part they're going to just bounce off each other and be very even. It is going to come down to those solo lanes. Artifact and Coded are very inconsistent solo laners, so if they show up, they will probably roll the side of Cerberus, but Yado is consistently a pretty solid mid laner. Pun, he's had signs of being good, but last week he did not look good at all. I think the jungle is mostly a wash, because DNK is one of those junglers where he is super, super clutch, but his actual base level of play is pretty average as far as VCS junglers go. Mm-hmm. So it's going to come down to what solo lanes do we get out of Team Secret for the most part, and maybe it does come to Artemis shows up massive in the team fight stage. Maybe Slater and CBL find that synergy from their flash days and start wrecking bot lanes again. But yeah, I think the solo lanes are the breakpoints. Everything else should match up pretty evenly or be not much of a real factor.
So let's get our predictions on stream and have a talk about why we think it's going to go the way it is, because this one isn't super easy to call. I think these two teams are very evenly matched, particularly after the week 1 performance. So we've all got a 2-1. Me and Vinny are leaning towards the boys from Secret, and Rebel, predictably, considering how high you power rank them, is going towards Cerberus. So I'll let you have the floor first. What gets Cerberus over the line?
I think there's exactly one reason, and to me that's Ron OP. I think Ron OP is arguably one of, if not just like singularly, the best support we have in the VCS. He made it very clear, especially when he's paired with Artemis. And Secret, I mean, they've got CBL. CBL is not a bad support by any standard, but I think if you're asking for one gap that's definitive in this game outside of Pun just being just like worse than his competition, I would say Ron OP might be that big difference maker here for Cerberus. With that advantage, that's why I have them tipped over the scale. If Ego were to return also, that's when you can really start pumping that in. This might have been a 2-0 for Cerberus or something along those lines. But to me, the Ron OP difference is what gives them the win today.
Fair enough. Vinny, what puts Secret over the top?
So I actually had Cerberus as the 2-1 until very late in the lock-in for our predictions. So, but because Secret looked pretty shaky in week one, but they also did have that really, really clean win in that first game. And I do think it's going to be solo lane difference. I think Rono P has been, he has definitely shown that he can be good, but so can CBL. If CBL is on an engaged support, CBL is one of the best in the league. If he's not on an engaged support or a hook support, then yeah, he sort of stops being that superstar that we want him to be. But those solo lanes are really going to be the factor. If they are on, and Team Secret is one of the best teams in the league. It's just a matter of consistency. And I think but Pun was pretty consistently bad, so that sort of gives Coated at the very least a little bit more wiggle room in how consistent he needs to be in being a good player.
That makes a lot of sense. Is there any picks in particular or compositions that you're particularly looking out for, Rebel?
I would say, again, what actually worked really well against Secret last week, again, if we come back to what Saigon Buffalo was doing with Froggy, was moving them around the map and also attacking straight through mid lane is another option, because I believe this was the series that they used the Kalista mid lane in, which I don't expect again today. But again, if you're able to shut down those solo lanes with those picks, things like that Kalista where you're pulling your jungler in constantly, or that Twisted Fate where you're going top lane and able to bring that down, I think that's a really good option. So Galio seems to be something that comes to mind for the most part here for Cerberus as have a pretty good potential.
Vinny, what do they pick up to stop Cerberus from pulling them around the map?
If it's not banned, go Thresh.
Yeah.
Because if CBL is on Thresh, if they have that super strong 2v2 bot lane, you don't get the option to pull Secret around the map, because if you divert forces anywhere away from that bot lane, they will kill your bot lane and then win the game through there. So that's really what they need to do. Similarly, they can also do the same sort of thing up in top lane, give Coated his Jax or something along those lines. Try and smash the lane through there. Artifact, he has a couple of picks, preferably not the Irelia, but something like the Akali maybe. But we'll see. Strong lane picks, I think, are the secret for Secret.
I think it's interesting because we're talking about these global comps, the Twisted Fates, the Gallios and the like. It was Secret that pioneered that in the VCS last year. They were the ones constantly picking Camille TF Galio and just doing really, really well with it. They were even adding like the Nocturne and stuff. I actually wouldn't mind seeing them return to that. Capitalize on Pun's sort of weakness. And the fact that maybe Ego's not playing, maybe you can catch Fook flat-footed. But again, Fook was definitely not bad last week. It wasn't his fault that they lost. Go back to your own global comp. I think Team Secret is only a good team when they're calling the shots. As soon as Team Secret is playing reactive, they fall apart. So they have to stay on the front foot.
And to double down on that, I think Cerberus is also exceptionally good if they get to a team fighting phase, where if you get Pun, who has been remarkably bad in the laning phase, outside of it, when he's on something like the Wukong or the Kennen or something that has that big AoE damage, the team fight changing stuff, that's when this team starts to come online as well. So I agree. I think that that's a really good idea. Take that Camille Galio, take the Nocturne. I think that's a really underrated pick right now. But things like that could absolutely help devastate these solo lanes, push that win condition that Vinny's been wanting the entire time.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be the Nocturne specifically, but there's something that can get around the map and actually get into the lanes. I think that's going to be the way to go for Team Secret. We'll have to see which way they do end up going with that, of course. Coded needs to buck up his ideals, though. He wasn't good last week. For someone that is sometimes in the discussion alongside someone like Yoshino and Zeros, he needs to perform so much better.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, no, absolutely. His game one was what we really want out of Coded. He was able to control the lane really well, move around the map, impact the mid lane, impact the bot lane. But yeah, in the second and third game, he was just a non-factor. He may as well not have been playing, it feels like, because he was just he just wasn't able to get that pressure out. Wasn't able to do what we want Coded to do. and that is win lane and to snowball that into winning the game.
I apologize. Rakan apparently agrees with you very much. I will apologize in advance if he decides to get a little bit angry during the game. Normally, he goes to another room, but he injured his wing earlier today, so I have to keep an eye on him. So he has to stay. But he's cute on camera, so that's a plus. This top lane matchup, I think, it's interesting in that it's potentially both teams' weak point. Pun, I know you don't like Pun being played, Rebel, but apparently Cerberus has the read that Pun is the talent they want to develop. He's younger. He's potentially a franchise player. I don't necessarily agree with that assessment, but it's the one they've made. How do they get him involved? How do they help him get through these lanes?
I think the one thing they haven't played yet is Shen, actually, and I think Shen could be a really good pick for him just because it means that your laning phase is essentially, as long as you're not playing into something like Vayne, where you just get perma-harassed and can't even touch your wave, you can just press your ult button and have an impact somewhere else. You're a really good team fighter. Like, there's a number of different things that come around from Shen. Other than that, again, teleport plays in general are actually really good for things like Kennen, like Wukong, where you can get them involved in dragon fights, Rift Heralds, anything of the sort, to make sure that they've got that. I also like that CES, now that the draft has started, going away from something like the Camille, which is a split pusher, also taking that out of the hands of Coded to punish Pun in that top side.
We are in draft. I'm a little bit behind, so someone else is going to have to talk about what's happening while I try and fix my tech issues.
Sure. Right now we got Lucian and Camille on the side of CES, and then we have Olaf and Alistar taken away from the side of Team Secret. Funny enough, also, I did just a little bit of work looking into what CES did at the support role, and they're actually the ones with the 100% win rate on their hook champions between the Thresh and the Nautilus, and Team Secret has yet to play it. So if we get that, we'll have the option. We round out the draft with the Talia ban actually from CES on blue side here. Also, CES has subbed in Puri and Zuhao for their top and jungle. We have a completely different roster from what was playing last week. Oh, that's Pun, my fault. For some reason I thought that's Puri. Why?
I was like,
that Pun makes it look like an orange.
Who is Puri? I had no idea what you were talking about. It's going to be the Xayah first pick. Zuhao is in though. That is actually important. That was their jungler last split. He sort of vanished off the face of the earth. We knew he was still around the organization, but here he is actually playing as Team Secret answer back with a Lilia.
Ooh. Okay. You get a little bit of a look here within that, yeah. And then the interesting part for this is CES's Xayah, just because I mean they rushed that pick so heavily. This is similar to something like what would have been the Kai'Sa as a first pick here from the side of CES, in that it's adaptable. You can do a number of different things with it. On the other side, we get the Lilia Renekton. That's a powerful combo. It's not quite the Talia Renekton. You can still get aggressive in a top lane, but without that hard CC into the seismic shove combo, you can't just guarantee an execution. And they're going to go to the Pantheon. We see that more support for some reason than like mid lane or jungle, even though I think it's a very powerful jungler and mid laner. But we'll see if CES wants to do something. That would be something that Yato could use to control this map. Try to aggress against Coded, something very powerful to play into Artifact. Nope, they're just going to lock Orianna instead.
I mean, that is a traditional champion for Yato. Yeah. It makes some sense. Set is the hover here for Team Secret. Not a fan of this lock-in.
I don't like that. Just because, okay, they're double melee, and then a Lilia is also not the longest range champion of all recorded history. Especially into a Xayah and an Orianna, you really do not have any semblance of a team fight to come out against CES right now with your Team Secret.
The plus side for Team Secret is they're not the ones who are likely to play Set in that mid lane, so they still have options to go for something like a Syndra, go for something more of a control mage in that mid lane, maybe Victor, maybe more of another sort of dive champion for Artifact, maybe we see as Irelia, who knows. But with the Kalista out there, they can't just throw people at the Xayah.
There's no Samira available, or Samira is still available here from the side of Team Secret, so if they really want to like triple down into this very low range, kind of scrappy teamfight composition, Samira would fit into this pretty well.
Samira is the final ban though. Aphelios Thresh still available?
And that's, I think, what Team Secret has been winning with. Actually, Team Secret's not that. CES has been winning with the Aphelios more than anything. But Team Secret could snag it here.
Slater's just not a big Aphelios player. I think he's more likely to go to something like Ezreal. Or Jin. Okay. This comp doesn't deal damage, guys.
No.
Just pick
We
a
have to
tank.
see-
If you pick Ornn here, Pun can't die.
They can also go for the Gragas. His game 1 against Buffalo, his Gragas wasn't the best, but it still did its job of being absurdly tanky and making distance for the AD carry. So that is an option for them. That
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I guess it's a slightly better matchup than say the Ornn would be into the Renekton, but it's not the best with this whole sort of comp setup for Team Secret. They're gonna have to pick a really high damage mid laner, like the Victor or something, or a Nazir to really make up for the lack of DPS that they have. Though that said, it's not like they're up against a particularly tanky composition, so maybe more bursts will do them just fine. But they do need more damage. If that's a tank set mid, that's not what you want. That works.
Well, does it?
It's
doesn't
damage.
It's not reliable damage. Like, Zoe is not reliable teamfight damage. She's not.
No.
I think we've got weird drafts here. I need you guys to break this one down for me.
I'll start with Team Secret.
Sure.
It's a very basic siege comp. It's not the best in terms of teamfight damage for sure, but if they can set up around turrets, if they can set up first, they have a lot of poke, they have a lot of siege potential, and they can just sort of try and take down these turrets as a 5-man stack with not actually fighting, with trying not to actually get into these team fights, but just with the pressure from the paddle stars, from the long range deadly flourishes, things like that. The swirl seeds doing a lot of incidental damage here and there as well. I think they have a good setup for siege, but if it does get into these team fights, they may struggle a little bit.
Yeah, I think CES, on the opposite hand, is set up entirely around the fact that they are just a monstrous team fighter. You think about Artemis here, where he has his ultimate, he's got his flash, he will have Gare Force, and then he also has Thresh Lantern. That's before any other itemization. That's just your first item, and then everything else that comes along. And if you look here on the side of Team Secret, like, who actually is burning those abilities? What is it going to be, like a Lilia Sleep that burns one, maybe a Zoe Bubble that burns another? You still have two options for the next team fight, and you can't walk in with like a very low range set and Renekton and anything else. So all of the damage onto this backline is going to have to be Artifact. To me, this is Team Secret saying Artifact is better than everybody on this map. He's got to do all of our work for us. Let's play around this Zoe.
It's a bold call for sure. And Rebel, where have the chips fallen? Who is taking game one?
I've been pushing for Xayah to come back into the meta for literally months, and I'm happy that finally people are starting to catch on, and so I'm going to give it to CES here.
I mean, I struggle to disagree with you, considering I have Rakan on my shoulder. Got to cheer on his wife. Vinny, I think Team Secret have fallen apart a little bit in the draft, which is a bit
They are certainly feeling the lack of a next quarter in their draft, it feels like.
Yeah.
It does not feel like they know what to do with Slater.
Yeah.
They still are drafting as if they have celebrity. Slater is not a Jhin player. I mean, I'm sure he can play the pick, but you have Slater, make him your carry. Force him to play something like the Aphelios, force him to play the MF, make him play something that's big and dangerous and can tear apart team fights.
I think Aphelios would have been great here. You just play a bouncer.
Oh, absolutely. Play Aphelios in with this comp, and it's actually really strong. They had the ability to go Thresh instead of where they picked the Jhin. They could have gone Thresh Aphelios at the end. That would have made a really strong comp. Oh, actually, no, they picked set way too early.
Well, you could have gone set mid. You'd have to have gone set mid, which Artifact may or may not be able to play. I think the set pick, honestly, was just silly. You know, like, why pick set support when Rel exists? Just pick Rel.
Yeah,
she's better.
I mean, and Rel seems like exactly a CBL champ. As I'm getting a buff from.
Yeah, you are lagging. You're actually
Stream?
going. Your
Is
internet
that
seems to be dying as you're
just
going robotic on Discord,
me?
and it seems like you can't hear me. But are you there, Vinny? Hello?
Every day?
Hello, Vinny? Can you hear me?
Oh no.
He can't hear me.
Yep.
But I assume. Oh,
No,
you can't hear me?
but
Oh, hello.
You.
Okay,
I
yeah,
can hear you.
Okay, I can hear
Yes,
you too. It seems like you're lagging.
Oh. Yes. Oh. Yeah. I have no idea where the time's at now, so I'm at 2:46.
Okay, you're quite far behind then. Artifact getting
Alright,
chased down by Yado.
306, 307, 308,
Okay.
309, 310, 311,
Okay.
312.
We're both behind. Nice. And I think production's AFK again. Oh dear. We're just gonna have to try to fly by the seat of our pants at the moment.
Yeah.
Until
And my cat has, and a cat has made its way into my room, so it's getting in the way.
Thankfully, nothing too important is happening at the moment. Coded just getting a little bit bullied by Pun, not unexpected in this matchup, as we will have a Scuttle Crab being secured down on this bottom side. One for each jungler, as they just keep on power farming. A Raptor Camp steal for Pantheon. He does get the first blood in the Chicken Wars. In fact, actually, I'm not sure about that. I think perhaps it was a trade. I did miss that while we were having tech issues, so...
Yeah,
We're
it
trying to sort
appears
it out.
it appears that vertical jungling may have taken place, but Pantheon is making his way into the top side, but seems to have been warded out. So
Yeah, he's going to go in, though.
Coded
Coded
will vault. Oh,
takes a lot of damage. Doesn't have to use his flash, though.
yeah, DNK was a little bit late to make a real counter gank happen. I think that was what they were trying for, but doesn't happen. Coded has to back away. Probably will burn his teleport, and if nope, Zuhao is going to complete that recall and completely avoid that problem. As the
Oh,
bot lane.
CBL taking a lot of damage. He's going to go down. Artemis with the first blood. Slater trying to trade it back. Has the fourth bullet locked and loaded. Flash shot. And there it is, a 1-for-1. But it was a first blood for Cerberus.
It's a.
Okay, I'm synced with production. So if Vinny can catch up.
I'm
synced
still a
with
little
production.
bit behind.
Okay. But it is a 1-for-1
I was only
bot lane.
like a.
And it's a sap.
Oh, thank goodness! Finally, we can
Lord.
catch up. But we're just gonna see what happens here. It's Ron OP that started off with a good hook, but this haymaker shield is enough, as well as that burst damage. Artemis has to commit the flash. It's too much. The flay is good because it forces Slater to flash in return, but it does mean that overall, look, first blood going over to Artemis means he probably comes out ahead in the gold trade, but he's going to miss out on a bit of gold, bit of experience from the minions. So Slater isn't really set behind at all. He's going to get a little bit of an experience lead. He's going to maybe be a little bit ahead in gold out of creep score. But so it's a pretty even trade in that bottle.
That it is, and we are hoping this pause resolves itself quickly. We don't know what actually happened, but it was just that bot lane action so far. Sorry, Rakan was trying to eat my microphone there, and he's not allowed to do that. Shockingly enough.
He's so tasty.
Other than that bot lane play, the game is going fairly evenly at the moment. I do think the bot lane play favors Cerberus pretty hard though. Xayah did get the first blood, and also Xayah does a lot more with her gold than Jhin does. It's why I don't really like the Jhin pick. Yeah, I'm angry too. It's okay. As I said, I apologize for him being on stream and yelling. He's got an injured wing, so I have to keep him nearby. Go ahead, Vinny.
Yeah, getting that first blood is going to get Xayah closer to her power spike, her power points a little bit faster, which is what you really need, because in the early game that is Jhin favored, and we saw for the most part it was Jhin and CBL. and Set having that pressure. It was just a really good hook from Ron OP to set up the kill, but having to commit that little bit extra with that flash means the return comes through. So overall, it's pretty even, but gold on Xayah is good.
Yeah, and we are, if production's ready, we might throw over to a tech pause until we have some gameplay. So we will be going to a short little pause while we wait for these tech issues to be resolved. We apologize, everyone, but there's nothing we can do. It's not on our end for once. So we'll see you guys, hopefully, in just a minute or so.
KDA, should we show them how we do it every day? Kali that girl, Kali go girl, Kali don't stop, Kali don't skirt, Kali got a job, Kali got a word. 뜨거워 언제나 don't get burned. 넘쳐 흘러물 든 a buffet, 죽여주잖아 like a buffet. 누가 감히 on my outfit, 그 문 열지 마 that's a rough day. 안 겹한 your mark cause I'm greater than. 필요 없는 시험들 다 뿐이미. But all of my numbers are talking babe. 부루마법 message monopoly. 눈종이 돈이나 real money 필요 없대. 너네들이 만든 돈들 go get it, go get it, go get it. 또 미션 눈을 못대 못해 그래 너도 get it cause I got it different. Is life upon the throne. 시작하면 끝을 보는 거야. You want more? No, I got it, so here you go. You look like you could use some more. No, I got it and never running low. Yeah, I got more than enough, set it up and away. You know I got it like boom, boom, blow your mind. Never giving less than it's how it'll stay. You know I got it like all day, all the time. When I go, it's for thug, get it cool, but I'm cold. I don't sit in a mode, I'm a rebel. I don't do what you say, making moves, I don't wait while I smile in your face. I got different DNA. What's higher than the top? That's me. Come take a look before falling at my feet. 조용히 몸을 숙여봐. So take a look, 나를 기억해, queen. All I'll ever
Welcome back, everybody. It was just a short little sap. Players just had to catch their breaths clearly, as we
never
have.
mind.
Oh, is it another? Oh, okay. Why do we trust it? Why do we ever trust it?
There was a solid 10 seconds of gameplay.
Bring back the Maokai screen. Poggers. Welcome back. We're trying again, boys. Third time's the charm. As Artifact is in a lot of trouble, the shockwave misses. He gets away, and Zhu Hao will not be able to complete the kill. A flurry of action as
Oh no! What was that? That's not. You
Yeah,
know
so-
exactly where he's gonna be. Okay. Anyway, the redemption coming out clutch, sort of.
last
Yano
match. We're never
coming
going
up
to see
clutch.
that. Not going to
Thank
see that
God.
anymore. And Pun just killed Coded.
So I think we can safely say we rolled a bad coated today because Pun didn't even have to use his ultimate. He's using it now so he can get this wave shoved. And Zhu Hao in
To
this
kill Zhu
mid
Hao,
river.
puts him to sleep. He has to wait out the shield, and there it is. The easy kill. Can DNK get a way out,
There's
though?
no ultimates.
He can. He's going to charge on forward. Yado, very low. Ignited. Artifact
Let's
has
go.
a free flash locked and loaded. That's an easy kill. Can they get onto Pun? They can. It's a double for Zoe, and Team Secret have struck.
Everything goes so horrible for Cerberus. Oh, but in the bot laner, don't stop.
Of course it doesn't, as there's a flay onto Slater and a kill. CBL trying to get away towards his tower and will.
Cerberus bot lane versus the world. They pick up a kill on the bot lane, but in this top side, we see Coded actually just tries for the kill, but isn't able to get the burst. So when he's stunned on the turret, he ends up taking too many tower shots. Then Pun uses the ultimate to shove the wave, but has to try and rotate to help Zhu Hao, and so does Yado, but Zhu Hao dies, which means there's no ultimates because Yado whiffed his and Pun had just used his for wave clear. So that just means they're sitting there mostly useless against Zoe and Lilia, who just run him down.
Cross match,
I am-
though, it was 2 for 2.
Oh,
Since Coded and Slater
It was
did
2 for-
die for Team Secret.
3, because Yado died as well.
Oh, true. It was 2 for 3. You're right. You are completely
So-
correct. I can count.
So, but yeah, good job for Artemis and Ron OP trying salvaging the play a little bit. Great flash hook onto Slater and to get the kill. Artemis is off to a great start. He's 2-1. He's going to be well on his way to his Gale Force, and that is once again going to have to be Cerberus's win condition. All bets on Artemis.
And finally, they do manage to land a shockwave, and Artifact is shut down. Zhu Hao, the beneficiary of that kill.
It's all an elaborate plan. Build up, shut down so you can take them away. And Ron OP is going for another play with Artemis.
Ron OP charging forward. Zhu Hao is popped the Starfall, and it's just going to be CBL, the sacrificial land. Slater, ooh, stay on there, son. Getting very
Careful,
aggressive,
buddy.
isn't punished. Up on the top side, Coded and Pun having a go at each other, but in the end, no one will go down. It's a flurry of action in this game. We have 9 kills, and we're just coming up on 9 minutes.
Yeah, really great stuff coming out of Zhu Hao in that last. Actually, that's something we didn't even mention. It's not Fu
Oh.
Guanin. It's Zhu Hao.
We did.
He's back.
We mentioned
I
it.
didn't. I was.
I think,
apparently.
I think
missed
you
that.
were, dealing
in
you
an
were dealing
emergency.
with
Yes.
noodle problems.
Little problems. Yes.
DNK
Well,
starting up.
Welcome
this
back, Zhu
break.
Hao.
Yep.
So Zhu Hao's, but yeah, great passage of play out of Zhu Hao, just picking up a kill in that mid lane, able to rotate into the bot lane. However, on that, in fiddling around top side, Secret is able to reset, get priority in the mid and bot lane, and then translate that into a dragon. That they don't exactly have the most impactful ultimates, so that 10% isn't actually going to be all that useful for them, which is a shame because individually by itself, Cloud Drake is the strongest one-off dragon, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is.
But
Totally.
it's going to be traded. It's definitely going to be traded for this Rift Herald, and they can look to utilize that to push Artemis even further ahead, which would be my choice, because I think the Xayah is your main hope. Definitely try and get her rolling, get her even further ahead of this Jhin, make Jhin feel absolutely worthless, because Xayah is just better in every single way.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree. I think Xayah is a very good pick here. I think Slater's going to really struggle on this Jhin. It's not his kind of champion. They didn't prioritize him in draft, which is very, very strange to me. And he is kind of paying the price now. Even in farm in the bot lane, but it is just already a Gale Force completed for Xayah. This bot lane is rough.
Yeah, 2 kills and a turret plate and an assist on top of that, doing a lot of work for Artemis in terms of getting ahead. Also didn't stop off at boots, which does delay the buy for Slater a little bit. But with Pantheon and now Yado sort of hovering towards this bot lane, they may be looking to make something happen.
This is going to be the Rift Herald. It's dropped down. It's not going to take the tower, but it will be a lot of gold given straight over to Artemis. There's nothing that Team Secret can do about this one. D&K is here. They might try and turn a play off the backside of it. The bubble comes in, and I think that will be it. Just ensuring there's no further pushing behind the Herald. But still, Artemis benefiting from the gold.
Actually, really nice play from Artemis. Great positions of trying to stay in range for that turret gold despite all the attention that was thrown at him to try and push him back and divert it to Zhu Hao. So, really nice positioning. It pays off. He gets that turret gold, and now he's feeling very confident pushing into that river against DNK.
DNK is currently 2 levels up on this Pantheon. He is power farming at the moment. Pantheon has finished his Gore Drinker, but I assume DNK has a fair bit of gold in his pocket. Just hasn't recalled in a little bit. But he has nearly a 30 farm lead and 2 levels. This could get out of hand. We know what Lilia can do. Does look like it's going to be not the Moonstone Lilia. So none of that. I actually don't hate that. Because I think him bringing some damage is actually pretty important to Team Secret's comp here.
Moonstone and Moonstaff in particular provides a lot of actual damage.
Not as much as Leandre's.
Against a team with relatively low health costs, yes, it does. If you're buffing up the attack damage of the AP of your Zoe, you're buffing up the AP of yourself on every proc. That's if you go the staff. It's a lot of damage. But never mind that. It's not going to happen. Going for the Leandres, we're going to have to sit. But the main issue isn't really the jungle itemization. It's the spot lane. Artemis is just off to the races. He is so far ahead of Slater, and he is powering down this turret as well.
Yeah, this is Artemis putting on an absolute clinic here in the bot lane, and Slater just absolutely can't deal with it. They're just so low range. The set is just being completely outclassed by the Thresh. The Jhin is being stonewalled by the Xayah. And what does Team Secret even do to get back in control of this half of the map? It's 4 tower plates now going to the bot lane of CES, and that's right, Rickard, it's very bad. And I don't know how they stabilize this one.
Well, in about 3 minutes, they can try and make a teleport play with Coated, but unfortunately his teleport was used to get him back into the top lane. They are going to lose this blue buff. I thought Artifact might be able to steal it, but they might be able to catch Yado out.
We have a bit of a fight. The curtain call is used, but the angle's not great as the Lantern repositions that Pantheon, and everyone will escape.
I don't like this recall from Ron OP. If he stays on the map, they have the pressure in that lane. They just chunked out CBL. They could have turned straight onto Dragon as it spawns, but I guess they saw Coated roaming towards mid lane. Pun was on a back, but he had TP, so he could have joined the fight if necessary. I think it's a missed opportunity, but they all back now, and Team Secret doesn't push in to take that Dragon. That's going to be a pickup for the side of Cerberus, and then they're probably hoping for more of a Mountain Rift to really double down on the lack of damage that Team Secret has. But we will and like mitigate the burst out of Artifact and Slater. But we'll see what they get. They're hoping for a Mountain Rift. They're probably going to get Notion. There we go. They got Notion. And Pun may be in trouble.
He should be okay. I don't think they want to dive a cannon.
they're not.
It's pretty risky. I think they will just be going for a few camp steals, but won't even be a buff, so they really do just send CBL up there to help them steal away a Gromp. Guess no big problem.
And now the next play on the map is this second Rift Herald. The rotation of the bot lane has come on through from Cerberus. They've moved Artemis towards this mid lane so that he can catch waves very easily and have easy access to this Rift Herald. Bubble into Rono P. Gonna make face checking in towards the river a little bit harder on the side of Cerberus. And the setup is currently really good for Team Secret, so they're gonna burst it down. Cerberus definitely doesn't have to try and fight for it, but it's definitely not a bad idea to poke their head in. They don't really have anything else to play for. Their waves aren't in position for it.
Ooh, Shockwave lands onto Coded, but only Coded. 1,000 damage. Who's going to get the smite? It is going to be DNK with the smite, but they can't actually get in to pick the eye up.
But they're not defending it.
They're not defending it. Okay, they're just going to let them have it. All right. Fair enough. I guess they just don't want to take any risks just for a second Rift Herald. It's not that big a deal at 17 minutes after all.
The top lane has been left completely undefended. Yado's going up there now, but it may not... Okay, no, they're not even going to commit for it. So in the end, it's just a Rift Herald, a little bit of back and forth. Cerberus, both teams playing very, very reserved in the moves they're trying to make. Cerberus could have tried to defend the eye after having great position onto it. They didn't need to send all their members back to that mid lane turret. It wasn't really going to be threatened and in being knocked down. So both teams just not really wanting to commit anything that they're not guaranteed to get.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
It feels like.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Both teams playing fairly cagey. It makes particular sense for Cerberus. Your Xayah is very far ahead. Just play around that. She's going to scale. She's going to do way more damage than a Jhin as the game goes on. Already has that that second item completed with that Essence Reaver coming in. This is a strong, strong bird.
Oh, no.
And here we go. They're going to try and take her down and clip her wings. She goes up in the air, stays there for a long, long time. But in the end, deer beats bird.
The sleep comes in and stops Artemis from actually completing the animation. So just ends up being frozen, but loses her invulnerability. So the turret just does so much damage. She ends up going down. With Artemis down, that's so much of Cerberus's power taken away, and they can easily shove in onto this midway.
Oh, that's not
Shockwave used to clear the wave.
Yeah, it clears the wave, does a little bit bit of damage to artifacts. So it's actually not terrible. For some reason, I didn't think about the wave clear there when I said it wasn't great. It was fine.
It wasn't great as an engaged Shockwave.
No, it wasn't. For some reason, I just didn't.
That wasn't its purpose.
Yeah, I know. I just did. It was fairly obvious, but I just didn't read it correctly. Oh, he's in a lot of trouble. He's dead.
Yeah, that's Zoe. Land a bubble, and with Jhin to follow up with a deadly flourish, no one to block. That's just a dead Yardo. Artemis is back on the map now, so the tower is still able to be defended, but DNK looking for a potential flank. His ultimate's back up. We can see another poor bird being squashed by a deer, but he has a weird spaghetti octopus monster with him now. That Thresh skin is weird, alright?
What am I listening to? Vinny,
you knew this would happen.
I'm just saying. Look, I know we haven't cast together as much as me and you have. You can just stop talking. You can just stop. It's okay.
Or I could say weird spaghetti octopus monster.
But we do have the push coming in the mid lane. Artemis will take this tower down very, very quickly. Covered on the side by Zhuhao and Rono P. Fairly easy stuff.
Yeah, they've also got
dragon spawning. Yeah, a dragon spawning in 10 seconds. There should be Cerberus as well traded for this top tower. Just later.
Yeah? Oh, not even. Next
He'll get
wave
on
it
next
should be
wave.
going down. But the delay does mean that there cannot be a real response into this dragon. Not that there was likely going to be one anyway. But that's picked up nice and clean for Shuhao. And then we're looking to see how they play around this Baron. With the mid lane turret down for Cerberus, they have a few options in terms of getting into that jungle, but with the lane pressure should be on the side of Cerberus in that on Team Secret in that top side. So both have their ways to play around and get advantage over this Baron pit. And at the moment, Team Secret have the vision, but still likely a few minutes before we actually see teams play towards it. Maybe you see a little bit of a dance around it because there's nothing really to play for another 5 minutes. But I'm not expecting to see much in the way of real dedicated attention there.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Mid lane tower. Ooh, Rono P tagged by a bubble. The curtains are called. But I don't think there's going to be near enough damage as Artemis just blocks it all out. Well done there. They're just waiting on a wave. And at the moment, Team Secret, their efforts keep getting stymied by the play of this Thresh.
Yeah, we'll see Coated and Pun just fighting for control of the waves. And the lack of this mid lane turret should be Cerberus's ability to control the side waves and really set up Pun to succeed in bullying out Coated and trying to shove these waves in. But they haven't really given him any vision to work with, so he has to play super safe, not really wanting to push up past river. All their vision is being dedicated to the top side, which is fair. Baron is the objective to play for, but Pun is sort of left to his own devices. He's not really being able to build up that lead, and this is the worst decision in the history of bad decisions. Why go Liandry's on Zoe? Just go Ludens. It's so much better. Again, Liandry's doesn't stack. Don't build two Liandry's.
You thought the LCK was over, but no, you'll have item rage here as well. As I just had a minor blackout. If I disappear suddenly, my power might have got cut. That's not good.
I wasn't kidding about not being able to pay the bills.
You paid my power bill. My rent? We'll talk. But yeah, this is not the best building here. Once again, we see the stacked Liandry's. That's very, very wasteful. If you want to go the Liandry's on the Zoe, which maybe you shouldn't, then you can go the Moonstone on the Lilia. But
Yeah,
a bit of a collapse in this mid side. D&K still 2 levels ahead on Zhu Hao. Has been maintaining this jungle lead. But unfortunately, I think we're going to start seeing the difference between the two top laners when it comes to team fight effectiveness. Because I'll tell you, Kennen can do a lot more, a lot easier than Renekton.
Yeah, unfortunately, Cerberus really made some poor map decisions there in those last few minutes. Pun completely backing off. Artemis did rotate down to sort of hang around that bot wave, but then he just abandoned Pun to go straight back to mid, and Pun decided to recall at the same time, so that's just a free tower to Team Secret. Artemis should have just stayed bot and kept the wave shoved a little bit. Make it so Coded can't really get a free turret without having to try and dive Artemis, which is a hard thing to do against a Sire. So you want to get your tower up. Maybe you lose the Blade Caller, not the Blade Caller, the ultimate, whatever it's called. But you might have lost that, but you would have kept the tower up. That would have kept Coated a little bit further behind Pun, and you've just given Team Secret a bit more pressure to play around it when it comes to this Baron, because now they can shove the bot wave past the river. They can get control over, force Pun to respond. They can be first on the play, whereas before they weren't able to have that bot lane shove in their advantage when it comes to playing around the top side. But top side isn't really going to be the focus for the next little bit because it's 30 seconds. And oh god, Artemis, what you doing?
Oh, yeah, Artemis, this is so over-aggressive, but that is the power of Thresh! As he's landed straight out to safety, Zuhao dives into the back line, puts up the shield, and this Spartan will try and run away. He's not doing the best job of it, though, as he is taken down, and bang, the fourth shot rattles on in. Yado, tagged by the deadly flourish, Jin smurfing this fight. Yado goes low, Artemis goes down, and Team Secret are here to win.
And we were saying in draft, Artemis on this Sire with the Thresh has so many escape tools. Doesn't matter if you just jump into the middle team and blow them all immediately. His team pays desperately for his sins, and they get the Baron goes straight to Team Secret for free. Pun may be able to pick up this Ocean Dragon and get them to Soul Point, but it's not worth it at all.
I mean, it is good. It does give them something to really fight over in 5 minutes if Pun gets it, which he will. Team Secret's not. Ooh, actually, did I see a teleport right before we cut the replay?
Yes, we did, but we just see him Gale Force straight into Set and Renekton, which is just not what you want to do. Immediately has to get Lanterned out, Flash and Heal blown, Ultimate blown as well, and he's just left not being able to do anything. The front line goes down. Good, decent shockwave from Yado, but it's way too little, way too late, and Pun just isn't able to find a way in. Pun has to abandon that dragon because there was that teleport they came in, and that's picked up by Team Secret, so they get everything on the map.
Yeah, this is a good one from Team Secret. They were just a little bit down, but with Cerberus just massively overstepping, just a silly, silly play by Artemis is just ridiculously punished. They gave them an inch and Team Secret took an entire mile.
Artemis didn't give him an inch. He gave him a whole country yard. He gave him like a football field at the very least. Because, oh boy, don't do that. If you're playing at home, I have a little bit of high solo queue advice for you. Don't Gale Force straight into a Set who can take you straight back into the middle of your team. It doesn't end well for you, as we can see here. And now Team Secret is Baron. Now they can set up the Baron with the Baron buff to just knock down these outer turrets, push their gold lead even further ahead. And Cerberus, they were doing really well, but that cost them everything.
It did. As Slater, Gale Force is forward. There's no Set to carry him, though, as he will just try and defend this cannon minion for as long as they can. Getting a little bit of chip damage on this mid lane inner, buying Coded lots of time in the side lane to push on forward. Team Secret, at the moment, are just using this power that was gifted to them very, very well. They get that bot lane inner.
Yeah.
And the Seed can... Ooh, Zhu Hao jumping in on the Pantheon. Does a lot of damage to CBL, but is that really the target you want to be jumping on as the Pantheon?
It was the only target I think he could get to. DNK and Slater evacuated very quickly, so he just took what he could get, and that was half-healthing CBL. Nice attempt from Yado and Zhuhao there, but oh no, it's opening back on them.
DNK is huge though. DNK is 3 levels ahead of this Pantheon. The shots are thudding in. The last one won't land, and I don't think it would have done enough damage anyway. But Zhuhao is thoroughly chunked out. The tower is dead. And Team Secret is looking pretty good. As long as one of our analysts doesn't decide to get on Twitter, CBL caught out, he goes down.
Yeah, CBL just sort of in a bad position. He's looking to sort of pressure on the side there, maybe threaten a dive, but Ron OP sniffs him out, gets a good hook. They take him down. That will end up relieving the pressure. And Ron OP, he's able to avoid the CC, so he gets out.
That he does. And we go back to a bit of a holding pattern as the Baron buffs run out. We are back at parity.
Yeah, and it's worth mentioning, Slater has completely caught up in itemization.
Mm-hmm.
He is at 3 items. He's going to back now and probably pick up some components to match Artemis, but he picked up a lot of shutdowns. The Collector coming in gives him a bit of extra gold as well. He's he picked up the two big components of the Infinity Edge, so he is going to be very strong very short. He's going to be a lot stronger very shortly. And Artemis still thinks Mercurial Scimitar builds out of a Vamp Scepter, apparently, but no, he's just stopping by that Vamp Scepter for a bit of lifesteal, picking up that QSS for the main. To get away from the set, get away from the Zoe bubbles, and just be even safer when he Gale Forces into the middle of the enemy team.
Renekton as well, going towards a little bit of a tanky option, has actually gone the Randuin's third item, which I like, because, you know, Coded never snowballed this Renekton, didn't really get ahead. Just go a little bit more tanky, dive in, shut down this Zaya's power. I actually really like this decision out of him. Dead Man's Plate on Lilia as well. It's going to be a fairly tanky version of the Deer, as well as giving that move speed, of course. Morello's being built on Orianna. Not the decision I would have made for CES.
There's not a ton of healing. You're really only reducing that the Renekton in terms of healing. And if that Ocean Soul does come through for Team Secret, then it's sort of useful, but I don't think it's worth stopping off. Just finish your voice stuff. Oh, but there's a good engage.
Curtain Call comes out. There's a sleep in as well. If he can weave the bullet, it'll do a lot of damage. He doesn't quite land it, but Ron OP goes low. Set comes slamming in from the side and gets the kill. It's a double for the support Set. It's 4 kills for Team Secret. Cerberus has been found. The teleport, just to get... what was that teleport? Pun has to limp away. That was... I have no idea what Coda did with that TP. It's actually boggled my mind.
He was trying to catch Pun. He was trying to catch Pun, but they decided, no, we're not going to kill Pun. We're just going to stop his back and, take the game.
Yeah, this is going to be Team Secret taking game 1. It was even until a mistake from Artemis gave the whole world away. And Team Secret do pick up this win. The Nexus will go down. And they want to redeem their failures from last week. But I'd like to remind everyone, they looked good in Game 1 last week as well. So this is by no means over. We hope you are enjoying the show. If you are, let us know in chat. It makes us feel nice.
Someone take away Your Way's phone.
Yep, Your Way, you're not allowed on Twitter. You killed him last week. You can't do it again, Your Way. You're not on cast tonight. You're not allowed. But we'll be back in just a few minutes here. Oh, okay, break not ready. Oh, production lied to me. My mistake. I'm sorry, production. It's not your fault. Okay, now we're ready. We'll be back in just a few minutes here on VCS English. We hope you're enjoying the show.
I hear the sound echoes beneath, angels and skylines meet.
Welcome back, everybody, to Team Secret taking on Cerberus. Secret roared into place in the first game, and despite the best efforts of that three-headed hell dog, they couldn't hold off the tide. I'm back on the analyst desk here with Vinny and Rebel, the two smartest men I could find in the 5 minutes of looking. How are we, boys? Rebel, what was your take on game one?
I mean, I feel like Cerberus just like played the mid game exceptionally sloppy. They had the definitive advantage. They were controlling objectives pretty well, and then you take fights without pun. You're throwing Zuhao into random fights. You're putting Artemis in the middle of a team with literally 7 ways to not die, and yet he's still somehow dying. I'm just lost as to exactly what was happening that entire game. It felt like Cerberus was missing a beat somewhere, and I don't know if it was communication. I don't know if Zuhao was not clicking. I don't know if the composition wasn't working for them, but clearly something was off kilter.
Yeah, for sure. Just, it seems so weird. I didn't like what Team Secret picked, particularly for Slater. I didn't like the Jin, but he actually had a pretty good performance on it. What needs to change in game 2, Vinny, for Cerberus in particular?
Give Pun a better way into team fights. His cannon looked fine in sort of the lane, but his decision making was pretty suspect. That recall in the bot lane, just giving up a free turret, his decision making and trying to get into the team fights and just not having any impact at all. So give him something he can easily impact team fights with, or give him something that he wants to be grouping with from the word go. So, in other words, put him on a tank. You could always age him up a little bit, change his name to LL. That might work as well. Or, or really the main thing, the biggest thing you can do is just tell Artemis not to jump straight into an entire enemy team with your Gale Force and then blow everything trying to get away from the Set and Renekton, so you get blown up immediately. Oh, hello, Cat.
Wait, there's Cat on stream?
I thought I
Cat on
knocked you
stream, Pog.
I'm going to shut my
Animals
door
all
for
over
a
the
second.
place.
Rebel, what can Team Secret do to secure this game 2?
I mean, it came out, obviously, Slater seems really comfortable when he gets into the later stages of the game, and that was pretty evident on Jin. And it seems to me like, I mean, at least after watching that first game, it's not like Team Secret did anything super crazy to just, like, take that win. It's not like they were forcing fights, it's not like they were making these crazy outplays. It's like Cerberus had to go beat them, and Cerberus was incapable of doing so. And so, I mean, if Team Secret sets that up again, you have to think that Cerberus 2 games in a row probably can't just outright beat Team Secret. So maybe all they have to do is give themselves more comfort, let Artifact back on the Zoe, Slater back on something he likes. They'll just literally walk in and lose yet another game.
Stop laughing. Stop laughing.
Nymira was really funny in chat. I'm having a giggle. Let me have fun. Let me enjoy things. And my stream. Oh dear, I am out of sync because I just realized my stream has been paused for 3 minutes.
Goodness.
Real strong performance out of me. Let's while we still have some time, we can chat things through, because this is a fairly important series for these teams. These two teams kind of look like they're going to be forming up our middle of the pack based off week 1, which is obviously only 1 week. We don't want to overreact too much. But in that case, victories over each other are going to be worth their weight in gold.
Yep. We were hoping these teams would be rounding out our playoffs with
I think
Garm and SBTC being the top 2, or the other 2. So, they still have a whole split to play to get there, but it's not a good look if you're starting down. If you're starting like down 1 and 2, or 0 and 2, if in the case of Secret. So you really want to be taking what wins you can get. You need to not be throwing them away if you're a Cerberus. Interested to see what'll happen. I think it's getting ahead of myself a little bit, but I think it's set itself up for a 2-0, because Cerberus does not have the strongest mental, and after that level of throw from the player we generally think has the best mental out of that team, it is gonna be rough. Most likely coming into this next game.
I don't disagree. What are your thoughts, Rebel?
I mean, taking wins, I think, is super important because you think about what this like schedule looks like for these teams. You think about Team Flash, who's got like Yoshino, Meliodas, Pake, Divkid. Like that's a really solid team top to bottom. You've got like SBTC, you have Zeros, and you have Celebrity, a couple of really star players. You still have GAM for both of these teams, which is pretty much just an immediate loss for the most part outside of a really bad upset. Even G Media Luxury is not really that bad. So, I mean, Cerberus, yes, you don't have ego, but you need to be taking games early on in the season. You need to be showing what Pun is for in the first place. And players like Artemis, who are really experienced, Ron OP, can't be making these trivial little mistakes because it doesn't bode well for late game. And Secret, I mean, they lost in week 1 to Saigon, unexpected by anybody. Need to come back and they just need to take every single win they possibly can get because they don't want to lose to Saigon. They don't want to end up being dropped in playoffs, have to play GAM or one of these other top teams to start off and maybe get booted down to the losers bracket real quickly.
Very true. We are.
I have
headed
some
over to
news.
draft.
There is going to be a substitution. It is not
no.
Pun. It is Huber. Huber is in for Ronope.
What?
Apparently, Huber is in for Ronope. That is the information I am getting.
What? Why? Spoods, turn the stream off. I'm out. See ya.
I mean, like last game,
he's straight up gone. How's
the
it play
number-
by Rebel?
it's pretty good actually, but like
all right,
I'm really shocked because like Ron OP actually didn't have a bad game. There was one moment underneath mid tower where like he was hanging out in like the mid river and didn't throw a lantern to Artemis for no reason when he was trying to get away. Outside of that, he was playing a spectacular game. So the fact that Cerberus is just throwing these players in at this point is just ridiculous. I mean,
I can only guess Ron OP is about as tilted as every day is with the idea that Huber isn't. So we can see the bands Zoe, Rel, Pantheon off the table for Team Secret, Renekton, Olaf, and Lucian taken away for Cerberus, and DMK is going to be back on his Lilia. What are we going to see coming out of this?
Okay, the Udyr is something we talked about before the season, or the split, or this game had actually started at the beginning of the stream, and we really like the idea of the Udyr pick, even if, you know, you guys don't think it's particularly the strongest. I just like to see it because it's been so long since an Udyr actually got picked. To see in meta is pretty interesting, but DNK on that Lilia was astronomical in the last series, kind of just gapping Zuhao, so I gotta see what Zuhao can bring this one.
Definitely in a better spot to match the farm on this Udyr than on the Pantheon, and Artemis is going to be on another champ that can access the entire enemy team, which is questionable after that last game. But I think he's probably learned from his mistakes, unless we see Zeldris or something. But no, we're probably going to see him come in, and we're going to see Artemis play this guy, so he's probably going to do fine on it. Slater, however, presumably it's Slater, and not Eddie or something, is piloting this Kai'Sa.
If
That's
it's
a hard
Eddie as
character
well,
to
I'm
find
not
out.
coming back.
Eddie's good, though. Eddie's good.
They're preserving Slater's health with that substitution, is what our assumption would be.
I mean, I just don't understand why you'd sub out Ronope. What's going on? But let's talk about these picks. As Coded has secured a Gnar, DNK, as I'm sure you guys commented on. While I did leave.
He was not relying, he did.
I was gone. Did re-secure that Lilia as well, while we have an Udyr over for Cerberus. I mean, the Udyr is the Lilia counter pick. It's true. You can catch him. Or catch her, rather. So I guess that's something.
I mean, stun botting is pretty nice. Into champions like Gnar, I mean, if you catch Mini Gnar out with a nice stun before he's able to use the jump or the flash, you can do some really significant damage to Gnar with an aggressive top laner. You don't have great ball delivery system with Udyr, but I suppose there are worse champions for it.
I mean, you can always deliver your ball with Kai'Sa. That is an option available to you. Plus, they still have to pick their supports, so something like an Alistar could come through to set that up. I'm very interested in this pick for Coated, taking this Gnar blind, which is a sort of a coin flip champion plus a coin flip player. Probability means it's about a 25% chance that it's actually going to be a good game out of him. So very interesting choice. That is not setting up your Orianna to work at all. That is.
It definitely is. Sorry.
You're good. I like that one quite a bit more. It's ball delivery. Also, it could set up a Galio support if they want something like that. That's phenomenal with the Kai'Sa. I think that's a really good decision.
They can't get a Galio support, unfortunately.
Oh,
Been bad.
Why would they ban it?
They don't
That
want
is
Artifact
weird.
having it, I guess? I don't know.
That is a weird decision that they banned the Galio. It is a team secret favorite though, so I guess it kind of makes some sense. How are they going to round this one out? That is going to be that set support, presumably, again. No reason to assume that's going anywhere else. And rounding out with potentially an Akali for Artifact. I like that.
I like the Akali.
Not a huge fan of the set.
I just want to see more fresh from CBL. That's we consistently hype him up as like the god of hook champions, and yet he has not touched one at all. He's really good at engage and hook champions. It's all right into sets as a lane, because Set has a bit of a harder time making those engages happen, but we'll see how this goes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we will. That is a Seraphine, which just hasn't been working for teams. I understand Seraphine is not a weak champion. People might be like, well, I don't understand why these guys are so down on the pick. It's just not working in the VCS. We've seen it. This is now the third time, and it's kind of failed pretty spectacularly both times, particularly when it was played in the bot lane by Palette. Palette, as well, arguably one of the best supports in the league. Huber. He's Huber. That's about all you can say. He's here for some reason. I feel like this is going to be super hard to pilot. It got absolutely dumpstered by Arel. I don't think Set can quite do the same things, but it can do similar things. I don't have a huge amount of faith in Cerberus picking this win up, but I would be happy to be wrong so that we get a 3. But yeah. Rebel, what do you think of these?
Maybe the thought process behind bringing in Huber is that Ron OP, as well as other supports in the VCS, aren't capable of piloting this Seraphine properly, and maybe Huber is the secret weapon that they get to bring in to, bust out into this composition. And surprisingly, it's actually pretty effective. You think about, like, the E is amazing at stopping CBL coded. The ultimate's really good at that as well, even into DNK, and Slater also gets pressure. Artifact gets shoved out of the shroud when you've got the Q and the big AoE, as well as the healing that comes through. Maybe that's the intention here. Like, into this composition, I think it's actually a really good pick, and maybe that's why they brought in Huber, just so that they can have something like that.
If I remember correctly, he used to be a mid laner at one point, so maybe he has a little bit of a little bit of a better idea of how to pilot this Seraphine, who is ostensibly meant to be a mid laner more than a support. And I think she is actually more a mid laner than a support, which is why I'm annoyed we keep seeing her in support. But, yep, sorry, Rebel.
Rebel, give us your final word and grab and give us a prediction.
I think CES's composition is a lot better. I think Huber's and Zuhao's performance in this one is what's going to be at the test. If they're doing well, they win. If not, then this is a 2-0 for Team Secret.
Fair enough. Let's see how it does play out. We'll talk to Rebel again after these games. I mean, look, maybe we will finally see the power of the Seraphine, but We'll have to see. I haven't been convinced, and I'm definitely not convinced with the Huber. Sorry, production? Okay. I'm about a second behind you. I'll try and...
I'm about a second behind you.
Okay. Oh, okay, well, I already 2x speeded, so... We're probably out of sync now, but we'll sort it out as we... Four,
Alright.
55, 56. Okay, cool. We should be back in sync. Sorry about that. It's just ongoing tech issues that we can't really solve. Cerberus will start off well. Yado getting the early mid lane prio, not unexpected, of course, in this matchup. Where are the junglers? It was a topside start for the Lilia, which is interesting. Potentially wants to just make sure she can cover her bot lane, who are going to be shoved in pretty hard. But it is Udyr doing that full clear for the bot side.
Yeah, this double range bot lane is going to have a lot of priority. And Kai'Sa being able to get that free harass with her Q, gonna exacerbate that and just give them the ability to push that lane in. That does incentivize Lilia to try and make sure that there's no ability for them to dive if Udyr decides to go for a top to bottom. He's of course doing top blue start, so he can spam the form changes and get a faster clear. And maybe he looks for something on the top side, but with the pushed in Nah, but the good ward in river should mean Nah is safe.
Should do, as Zuhao will be spotted up on the top side, but he will just pivot into a crab take. Wow, Udyr takes crab fast. That's pretty ridiculous. And
I mean, CC completely removes the shield, so that that bear stance comes in really handy.
It really does, as he will just cross over the mid lane. Potentially was trying to catch DNK getting his scuttle, but it did run down towards bot lane as we have a bit of a fight. The Haymaker lands onto Artemis, but it's just damage traded back and forth, but Team Secret doing very well from it.
It's damage traded, but CBL blew his flash for that, so if they want to try
it's
something...
It's set.
It is set, but it does mean... But you can't exactly use Hex Flash to get away, so if Udyr did want to try something and go for a play onto CBL, he would have been a bit of a sitting duck. No aftershock to keep him tanky, would have had, presumably, his phase rush would have still been on cooldown from that play. So CBL may have actually just been a juicy target if Zuhao wanted that. But decides to keep farming. He's an Udyr. It checks out.
It does check out.
I did a little bit of a play test of Udyr, and you just never want to leave your jungle because your clear is super healthy. It's super fast, even on just base damages. Oh, CBL making his presence felt immediately.
Oh, that was very silly out of Yado, stepping back forward. Just took a lot of damage he didn't need to take. But in the end, he is okay. Zuhao showed himself, so there was no overcommand.
To be fair to Yado, I would not have expected that. I wasn't expecting that face breaker to land, but Artifact goes in, but Hubar is there to chase off Artifact. DNK's here now.
DNK is here. Misses the Q though. Zuhao chasing on forward, but Artifact will go into the smoke. One goes a little bit... again, I see chat complaining. Yeah, my bird is yelling. Normally he goes in another room, but he's injured. So I need to be able to keep it. I need to keep an eye on him to make sure he's okay. So he might have a bit of a yell.
But this bot pressure has set up for the dragon, and okay, both teleports coming in.
Oh,
so,
this is bad. DNK is very, very low. He needs to be able to get this dragon down fast. Good zoning being done by Set. He's going to pay with his life. Can they get the Drake? They can. And they just have to burn 2 flashes to get over the wall. Zuhao will not go down. The exhaust was good. So it's a dragon for Secret, but 2 kills for Cerberus.
The exhaust from Hubo was so clutch, and Team Secret did a good job of keeping Zuhao out of the pit so he couldn't get towards DNK and the dragon, but they end up paying for it with their lives. CBL goes down here to keep DNK safe. The smite comes down, and him and Flater just flash away. Artifact tries to get the kill, but again, beautiful exhaust. clutch heal from Artemis as well keeps Zhu Hao alive, and it's just a two kills for a dragon. And Zhu Hao getting first blood means he is going to be very, very quick towards that chem tank. He might as well be playing on 11.2 because he just got a huge discount on that item.
Certainly did, and that was a bit silly out of Artifact. I think CBL dying just to be the sacrificial lamb to zone was totally fine, but I don't think Artifact needed to play it that way. He could have just moved towards the back of the Baron pit, eat over the wall. Just a bit too greedy, and in the end, I think giving up 2 kills was a little bit too much. 1 was
2
fine,
kills
2
definitely
was
not
too
worth. 1 kill, yeah, that's probably worth
the
it.
CBL death is fine. The CBL death, I think, is totally fine to zone. I think that's a good decision. The Artifact death is not good.
I would have rather just seen them give up the Drake altogether, as Coated goes in. Probably can't kill Punt,
Ooh.
not if he misses his Nah.
That
but-
got Punt's flash, though.
Oh, he did
Punt
too.
flashed.
There you go. So that's worth it. Means come the next Enrage, the Gnar ultimate should be back up. I believe that they changed it so that every time he's up on Rage, the Gnar ult should be off cooldown.
Yeah.
So that means Lilia can make her way back up there next time Gnar's in the mood, and then they should be able to set up their kill unless some fancy hook shots come through from Punt.
We'll have to say, as Hubert has roamed to mid, just to help out, to make sure everyone is safe. As Zhu Hao moves to a Rift Herald, covered by Yardo and Hubert. This is an easy take for Cerberus. They're starting out this game really, really well.
Yeah, I have to say, I've been really impressed with Huber's sort of map sense and sort of being able to roam around the map and knowing when to leave Artemis alone in that lane. He's also on a champion that's able to sort of push the mid wave against Artifact so he can't get a shove into a tower while Yardo's helping with the Rift Herald. So really making good use out of the Seraphine. Definitely the best performance we've seen on it so far. Admittedly, from the sport position, we only saw Pallid getting completely bodied. So
That was
not exactly a high bar to clear. Yet, really making the pick look like a solid choice. Working really well in tandem with Artemis. Their synergy actually looking in some ways better than the synergy with Ron OP, which is something I didn't think I'd be saying. Is Zhu Hao setting up for something?
Oh, tragedy. But it hits anyway, Slater.
What?
Um,
No, it was the double Q is what hit.
yeah, I know,
not
but
the ult-
Slater I feel like Slater could have dodged, but that's a bit weird.
Awesome. Yeah, so just as I start praising him, he flash ults in the complete wrong direction, but the double Q lands, and then Slater decides to kite upwards.
Yeah.
Probably because Zhu Hao because the ultimate completely whiffed. Oh, and came back to a dead CBL and a Rift Herald coming down, so that's going to be first blood.
Cerberus is
Top of
playing
that,
so well. What is going on? Where was this in game 1?
apparently Ron OP was the tilter and ruined everything. Ron OP was the problem.
Clearly,
Ron, no
the keeper
problem.
has come in and
Yeah.
cleaned up the play.
Yeah, we're just going to see the replay. I looks just like just steps a little bit too far forward. Double.
Yeah, this is
No, not a double.
silly.
Not a double E. Sorry, I was just walking into an Udia. That's not a good look. Artemis, however, gets slept. Gonna get away with just using the ultimate shield. So yeah, this bot lane play has really worked out for Artemis, for Cerberus. Team Secret is going to respond with the dragon after shoving Artemis back, but that's sort of a consolation prize. But it does set up a dragon snowball as a win condition. Unfortunately for them, it's going to be Mountain, which is not really what they wanted. Gnar can, of course, get super, super tanky with that, but I think you really wanted that extra burst damage on your Akali.
Yeah. I think
Coded.
Oh, yep. Coded's in some trouble. He's going to hop away. He's about to go mega, though. This wasn't particularly well timed. And he shockwaves the stun back onto himself, and Coded escapes.
Yeah, I think you're a little bit behind, but yeah, that.
Yeah, I think I am.
Yardo. Your Ariana play these past games have not been great. That was tragic. That was tragic from Artemis. Not Artemis, Yardo. Oh no. But anyway, they made the play top lane. Nothing came of it. It was Team Secret were able to get a bit of pressure back in the bot lane, do some damage to that tower, get some gold onto their members. Bot lane have swapped to the mid lane, so that's going to give them ability to make their way around the map as needed. The next Rift Herald is probably going to be the play. Actually, no, probably Dragon will be up before then. But this top lane turret may just go down to Coded's just pure laning.
Maybe.
That's the next objective to fall. He's got 3 minutes to make it work. But no, just gonna harass the tower a little bit.
Yeah.
You get a demolish proc, and so it'll probably fall eventually.
Maybe,
Probably before this next dragon spawn, or he can just not proc the demolish.
Yeah, I mean, Pun is very low. He should be forced back here. The junglers are both... Oh, hello. There's a little bit of a scrap. But Zuhao, they don't pull the trigger on that lilting lullaby, so he's okay.
It's worth mentioning Zuhao has his chem tank now. And this is something we don't see very often at all. The Triforce coming out from the Camille. Normally it's the Divine Sunderer that gets picked up, but I guess with this... he's looking to really go in all in and burst the Mininar form rather than just have that sustain, which is a bit more useful in the melee versus melee matchups.
Yeah,
where you can guarantee those Sheen procs more often.
Yeah, it's a bit more of that side laning choice, which I actually don't hate. Ooh, Coded is in Meganar. He's going to run straight into the bear. Huber as well is behind him. There's the Seraphine ult. Can he get the hop over the wall? He gets a nut, he gets a jump, but he gets yoinked back in, and Pun will make sure they pick up a kill on Coded. Very well done. And it's just Cerberus playing excellently here. I guess we just underrated Huber. The man's been terrible for 2 years, and this is his year, man. He's good now.
In 2 years to give casters false impressions. That's how it works apparently, because Huber has been in the right place in the right time super consistently. Artemis going for the Kraken Slayer instead of the Gale Force, a little bit interesting. Been playing on 11.2 for too long. Doesn't think the cooldown is still broken. So I guess that's just something he wants to do. I don't think he needs it. I think the extra safety would have been the better choice. But we're seeing this Rift Herald started up now. Cerberus appearing like they're just happy to give it up. Maybe they're gonna look to try and make sure this dragon is well set up that they can stop the snowball, get a Mountain Drake onto their Udyr. Because if they start picking up these Mountain Drakes, that Udyr is never gonna die.
No, not at all. DNK will secure this Rift Herald though, so Team Secret is definitely not laying down and dying. The neutral objective still going in their favor. But it's just Cerberus playing ridiculously cleanly. This is one of the best games we've seen out of them since their unbeaten run at the start of the last split. This is a fantastic performance.
Yeah, this is looking a lot closer to like the game 2 against Luxury, which was a complete domination. Oh, there's Fast Man.
There's an engage. They're putting them to sleep, and he's Newman on in. Here's the bear. Gives them the slap. And the entirety of Cerberus is up here. Artifact teleports in and then goes, no thank you. Goodbye.
Yeah, Udyr Bolt comes in at the speed of sound. Why does he not have a hedgehog form? That man is just insane at how fast he is, and he's going to just run down to that dragon and pick that up as my stream freezes a little bit. So,
yeah, it's everyone.
Oh, thank goodness. And Pun's dead. Artifact just kills Pun.
Yeah. Okay, we missed that.
My stream skipped a little bit. It just cut to a little bit of Pun into Artifact in the top lane, then Pun was dead. Yeah, getting a replay. Up.
Yeah, we seem to still be in sync. I think it's just VETV having a bit of lag.
Yeah, so they commit a little bit hard to try and knock down this tower, and Udyr is able to just waltz right in. Very fast waltz, of course, but Pun overstays, tries to get away with an artifact. He didn't leave. He just hung around and then blows up a half health Camille.
I mean, this was smart by Artifact to stick around. I definitely wouldn't have expected him to be there. I think that's why we were so surprised that he got a kill, because we didn't realize he was still lurking about. So in the end, it's only a 1 for 2, and they pick up the tower, so actually not a terrible passage of play there for Team Secret. But Cerberus won't be too upset.
Cerberus are able to get 2 kills and a dragon. They definitely come out ahead overall on the play. Maybe not necessarily in the gold totals, but in the effective stats, they definitely do, because that Udyr alone is getting so much value out of this Mountain Drake. And if they can continue to pick them up,
there's a lot of damage. CBL is just going to get absolutely detonated. Tries to flash away, but can't do it. Slater clears the wave to defend the tower, but can't save his support.
See, I just continued to talk there because I thought, nothing's really going to happen. Then Udyr crossed the entire map in half a second and finished that off. And
and Slater gets tagged by a W, but does manage to flash away. DNK arrives, getting a sleep out. The Seraphine ult completely diffuses the play. Zuhao runs in at the speed of sound. Coded tries to turn it around, but nars them away. Oh, son. So close to greatness.
That little wall in River is a Nar's worst enemy. It's so tempting to use, but you just end up narring people over the wall rather than into it. And oh god, Artifact.
Oh, Artifact is flying in, the showstopper as well. He's doing a lot of damage. Can he get Artemis? He can. And now they just need to find Yado, which they find. And only Zuhao will bear the weight as he gets out.
And Artifact just does not say no. He is going to win this game. But yeah, we just see Slater, Artemis, and CBL. They're just sort of hanging out. Then Zuhao just comes out of nowhere, stuns them up. And then this next bit of play is just Artemis. He's not overreaching per se, but not being able to blow up Slater baits the rest of Team Secret in, thinking we can kill Artemis. He's overextended. But a beautiful ult from Huber, followed up by the E, followed up by the Shockwave, means they do so much damage. Huber does go down in the end, but yeah, that Gnarl, you can see it in his eyes. You can see he wants that wall to work with him, but it doesn't. That wall is a traitor. And then Artifact decides, I don't want to lose this game. I'm gonna just do this. I'm just gonna kill Artemis. And
yeah, I also think it was really well done by CBL, just completely holding Zuhao out of that half of the fight. He ults the Udyr, and he's never going to kill him, obviously, but you just keep him over there. You just say, Zuhao, you can run as fast as you want, but you can't run through me.
Please don't press bear on my Akali.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That was really impressive out of Artifact. Has now got two kills on the Akali, and is doing pretty well. Has his Night Harvester. That's actually interesting that he's gone the Night Harvester.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. It gives you a lot of burst potential, which Artifact probably does need to just completely remove Artemis before Udyr can click on him. But it means it's a one-way trip. You are going to be Artifact is going to be looking to trade 1-for-1 with Artemis rather than try and sustain through the fight with the Void Walker, whatever it's called. Riftmaker, that's the one. I've been playing too much map. Wow, I wanted to say more Walker. And that was wrong.
None escaped the rift. No, but it is different. I think I actually like it as a choice. I think the team that Cerberus has built up, I don't think Akali is going to be just sitting in the fights, living there forever, that kind of thing, really abusing the Riftmaker. So I think the Night Harvester actually makes a lot of sense. But a lot of pressure is going to be on Artifact's back. Team Secret is in a pretty deep hole here that they need to find a way out of, and I'm pretty sure he's the only one holding a ladder. And I think Cerberus is in a pretty good position to kick the ladder over, particularly with Huber playing out of his mind, honestly.
Yeah. This is the chance for Team Secret, though. Yado is way too out of position. The dragon is actually super important. He has teleport, but he should have been here from the start. The Oriana Bolt is so important for zoning. And now Team Secret are going to get the start up. He's only now teleporting, and the fight's already started.
Yeah, it absolutely has. They're on pun, but CBL hasn't really confirmed the engage at all. CBL is just dead. That's a bit of a mistake, but in goes Artifact over the wall. Kills pun. On the other side, Huber has absolutely smurfed the fight. Doing very, very well on the front side. It's a 2 for 2 at the moment. In fact, it's a 3 for 2. I can't count. Coded has to find a way out. He does not have access to the Naba. Artifact doesn't tag with the Shuriken. At the moment, it's just going to maintain the numbers we have. The dragon lives, but the tower does not.
Yeah, huge win for Team Secret there. They don't get the dragon, they don't get to go to that soul point, but Cerberus has called their reset. They can just blow up the dragon now if they commit to it, but
Artifact is sticking around.
Yep, that's what they're gonna do. Artifact is sticking around, but he's clearing the wave. I don't know if he can respond in time. He may be able to, but
it's going pretty low. I think this is going to be secured. Oh no! You were a little bit ahead.
You got it! That is disaster. We are a little bit behind, but
I'm behind. You're fine.
Yeah, he got it with the E. That is disaster. It was looking like Cerberus may be able to get a bit of a compensation prize, and 2 for 3, but getting that Drake would have meant that Cerberus was actually coming out of it okay. But yeah, we see Yado is just way too late. Pun and Zuhao do so much to kill CBL. They commit so much to it though, and Artifact just comes in and does so much damage. Huge wombo out of Huber and Yado, but they can't finish off Slater. And then Yado's just sort of left, and then it's just sort of a bit of a game of chicken. And then, as we saw, they tried to take the dragon, and and Artifact gets it with the E. It's tragic if you're a Cerberus fan. Yeah. It's just tragic.
I'm sorry, Dad.
Yeah, sorry, son. But
that is a super rough. And it's put Team Secret into a really good position. They are still 2k gold down. There's still a lot of problems they need to deal with. But the Udyr is getting less and less effective as the game goes on because they're just getting more and more able to kite him and ignore him. And it's just going to come down to execution at this point. And in the last couple of fights, it's basically been Huber playing like a god and Artifact also playing like a god. And one of them's playing a Kali. So...
yeah, I think even though they are still behind in gold, the momentum shift from that play, especially that last steal, just takes the wind out of Cerberus, and now they feel like they're back to even or on the back foot. That soul point has to be in their minds, getting to them. They still have the ability to try and make plays, so if Zhu Hao and Pun can try and make something happen, maybe bully Coated a little bit more. Maybe just catch out Slater like this.
Slater just not respecting the bear, but he gale forces and flashes, gets over the wall. Coded is in the mix, trying to find a way in. Artifact has found his way in as he slides through. Is in the smoke, but also trapped in the ultimatum. Tags up Pun. They're going back onto Zuhao. Who's that over on the other side? They're all asleep. Artifact gets the first kill. DNK absolutely smurfed the back half of the fight with that 3-man sleep. Zuhao, he may be fast, but he can't catch DNK quite yet. Coded gets stunned up. The Camille ult as well. The Gnar's in a lot of trouble. The 3-man shockwave is absolutely massive. Haymaker whips across the team. Artifact still full health. Gets the tag onto Zuhao. Coded misses another Gnar, but lands a lovely stun to make up for it. Artemis gets the kill. It's really, really close, and Artifact goes down. Team Secret gets ace! And it was a game of inches, Vinny, but Cerberus takes a mile.
So many amazing plays from both teams. Great ultimates out of Coated. Great ultimate out of DNK. Amazing from Yado. They do so well.
Far behind.
And Yeah, you were. Slater getting caught out here and Artemis able to respond instantly, forcing him out of the fight completely. But Team Secret are first to respond, so they try and do a lot of damage, and most of the damage is kept out by DNK's beautiful sleep. But Zhuhao and Pun able to just soak up a lot of time. And then when it comes to the re-engage, it looks is really scattered. They go all in on Coded. They can't blow him up because he's and there's a bit of shielding. But beautiful Shockwave finishes off Slater, puts Coded down to nothing. CBL as well, but Coded able to stun up Yado and get a kill with his wallop, but actually not able to finish off Yado and just not able to finish off Yardemus on the side of Artifact. So
that was
so
honestly,
clutch.
That was
so
like,
good.
I want to stress how close that team fight was. I think Lilia was maybe 2 or 3 frames of animation away from finishing her Watch Out Eep. If that lands, I think Artemis dies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, we are literally we are talking about 2 or 3 frames where if that Eep lands, Artemis dies and the fight goes in Team Secret's favor. That fight was unbelievably close. I'm loving it. This is great.
It was so clutch. And Yado making up for all those sort of dodgy shockwaves with that 3-man shockwave, just turning the fight around. And now we're back to this dragon. This is Soul. Oh,
it
could be.
Yeah, it's Soul Point. Coded has the Mega Gnar, uses the ult though just to try and zone himself away. CBL can't use that shock, but a lot of damage. But there's a Dragon Steel. They blow up CBL. They blow up Xayah. Coded on full health though. He gets that first kill back. Where is Artemis? Artifact, I should say. He's trying to do what he can, but this is all Cerberus doing all of the damage. It's another ace. They stop the Soul, and suddenly Cerberus are saying, "We want map 3."
That GA coming in clutch. Artifact blows everything on Artemis. But it only pops a GA. The Dragon Steel means that they don't have the resilience to continue the fight. That's going to be an ace. That's going to be an inhibitor turret. Probably.
Oh, Zhuhao.
No, not with Zhuhao dying. They definitely don't have enough. Slater's up in 10.
I think they're going for it.
They're going for it. I don't know if that's the right idea with the bot lane coming up.
The bot lane is up. CBL's going to try and make this happen. They can't get the second tower quite yet. This could actually go really wrong here for Cerberus. They're teleporting in. They're ultra committing. They've just got to hit the Nexus, though. Can they get on top of the Xayah? They can. Pun. Hitting the Nexus, doing a lot of damage. It's not about half health. They need to get onto Artemis. Coded is trying to zone him out. Artifact will clean Artemis up. And Yado goes down. So they take the double Nexus towers, but they lose 4 in the process. Baron for Team Secret. This might have been a bridge too far.
It was definitely a step too far. With your main tank dying to the turret, you can't go for that. You need that CC from Zhuhao. But now they're going to try and turn onto this turret. Maybe Zhuhao can steal it, or maybe he can harass them enough to the point where they can't actually take it.
Good job. That's smart by Coded. It's Udyr.
Yeah.
He needs that blast cone. That was smart.
Great job by Coded. However, Zhuhao is fast. He can just zoop in whenever he wants, really.
Coded can go Mega to deny the entry.
That is important. That's what they need. Zhuhao's just hanging around. CBL's here. He has ultimate. He can just take
CBL
him
has
out.
showstop. Yeah, that's exactly what he's going to do. Baron is secured. CBL might die for his sins. Nope, he'll even get away. So, Team Secret get the Nasher, but their base is exposed. I hope someone has the clowns on speed dial because they are fiestaing all over this rift, and I am loving every second of it as this game is down to the wire.
And Cerberus, they just have to turtle. They just have to turtle out this Baron buff. Then they will get that next fight around the dragon. They're gonna have to try and have better setup this time though, because it was like sort of a miracle steal out of Zhuhao that kept them in that game, because that fight was so close. And if the actually no, that was a completely different fight. Sorry, the super clutch one to the dragon steal. But point is, if Team Secret get that soul, Cerberus has a much harder time winning those team fights that they are struggling with already. Not so much because their comp has fallen off or anything, but because it's just super great play out of Artifact and pretty much the entirety of the Rift playing extremely well. So they just have to outlast this Baron buff. They just have to wait until the Dragon fight and they can get the fight they want.
No!
Or they can try and look for a pick with Udia the Hedgehog over here.
Oh my god, they just sprint in, they get another tower, but honestly, that tower might be the most irrelevant structure on the map. In fact, it definitely is. It does nothing at this stage of the game.
It delays.
Nice for Cerberus to get it, of course. They want the gold, but Team Secret's really not going to mourn it. This game is still going to be about this next dragon fight. I don't know how long is on Team Secret's inhibitor. It's probably still a while, but they have to be careful of backdoors this whole
Still
time.
5 minutes.
Zhu Hao can
Well,
just...
like 3
If
minutes.
Zhu Hao drops off the map for like 30 seconds, he can just appear in their base. They've got ridiculous... Cerberus have ridiculous vision. Sorry, not Baron vision, just vision on the top side of the map, but not great on the bottom side. And the bottom side's more important right now.
Yeah, 30 seconds until this dragon. They can, of course, force Team Secret to pull away from this dragon by just rushing the Nexus. They do not have to worry that it's really a tough choice from Team Secret. Do you try and send someone to take the Baron, take the dragon, and risk giving up your Nexus? Or do you defend your Nexus and give another Mountain Drake over to this Udia? But Cerberus are just... They're going through the jungle where they have vision. They're trying to wrap around. They're going straight for the Nexus.
They've wrapped it. They're going for the Nexus. This is it. This is game.
He was stopping Artifact as well.
They don't have time. They're just going to hit the Nexus. This is game. Oh, actually, they get here. Maybe it's not game. They actually get here with a lot of time. They've got to get Pun. He's a really important target right now. CBL doing a lot of zoning. The Xayah ult's been used. Artemis diving on forward. They're on top of him. That's game. That is going to be game. Cerberus is taking us to game 3. What an absolute cracker. It ends in the most VCS way a VCS game could ever end, with an Udyr sprinting into the base at Mark 10. Oh my word. What a game. How can we follow that up in game 3?
With a very boring game, I can almost guarantee that, because that's how it always works. I'm sorry. But the push for the end almost spelled doom for Cerberus, but they are able to find their way back into the base, get that Nexus, and force a map 3.
And that was a ridiculously close game, but Cerberus edged it out, and I'm not ever going to complain about that, because we get a map 3 between these two teams. What a close run race. Unbelievable stuff. Whatever.
I know, but
My Counter-Strike roots coming through when I get flustered, but we will be back in not too long. We hope you're enjoying the show. If you are, tell us in chat. It makes us feel nice, particularly because there are some very salty people here tonight. So we will be back in just a few minutes here on VCS English. Welcome back, everybody. It's game 3. I hope you didn't catch that. We have interesting breaks. It's game 3 of Cerberus taking on Team Secret. It was an absolute cracker of a game 2, and we are back with apparently the most popular analyst in the whole world, according to our chat, Mr. Rebel Fox. Can you give your fans what they want? Some chat about the game.
Marshall, I love you. You're fantastic. He's one of my friends from home. That's why he's spamming chat like this. He's up at 6 in the morning for some reason at our time. Anyhow, that was a spectacular game coming through from both sides, and a rather surprising performance from Hugh, just because, like you two said, he's been inting for literally the better part of the last 2 years, and yet here he is, I guess, flash ulting in the wrong direction, pulling a Drekthar, somehow winning that fight anyway. So
it was bait, clearly. It was a really impressive performance out of him. We finally saw a Seraphine that actually had quite a lot of impact. It was a great performance out of most of the Cerberus players. In fact, all of them. Is Udyr good, guys? Do I finally have to admit that?
Yes, Udyr is good. Bean J is just bad at it.
Fine, I'll finally admit that Udyr is good. But, Rebel, what was your sort of like overall take on the game?
I mean, it was a lot of control coming out from the side of Cerberus. Again, it was Zhu Hao did amazing on the Udyr. You combine that with Hugh, who was able to do quite a bit on the Seraphine. You got Artemis to a place where that Kai'Sa was doing some ridiculously good work. Yada was finally somehow hitting Orianna ultimates. In the first game, it was a real struggle with the Pantheon. Somehow the Udyr made a better ball delivery system, and they were able to force down into the Nexus. And they had a couple of moments where the fight started to come back a little bit. Artifact was making their lives quite hard, but certainly taking that one was there for Cerberus. It was their game to lose the entire time.
Absolutely. And let's bring our predictions back up just so people know what we thought would happen before the series. We all predicted it going to 3. We did all predict it going to 3. Me and Vinny did predict Team Secret coming out on top, though, while Rebel stuck to the guns and picked Cerberus. Honestly, based on what we've seen in these 2 games, I have to favour Cerberus. I think they're actually playing better today. I think Team Secret didn't have as good a win in game 1, even though game 2 was also very close. I think Cerberus is the first 15 or so minutes was Cerberus putting on a clinic. That was a ridiculous early game from them. But I did predict Team Secret, so of course I still am crossing my fingers. Vinny, what was your take on last game, and what does Team Secret need to do to actually get over the line in the 3rd?
So, having the ability for Zhu Hao to actually really keep up with DNK helped out so much, because the Pantheon was sort of falling behind, even though he was making decent plays across, like, around the map and getting a few kills. He was still falling behind in gold because he just wasn't able to keep up in farm, and his experience was the biggest factor in what was keeping him down. The Udyr really changed that. It kept the jungler in the game, and Huber provided a massive service in that bot lane, just providing really good Seraphine ults, really good ease to just keep people locked down. So, and if I'm Secret, you want to empower Artifact somehow, because Artifact's been playing like a beast. Coded's been playing really well as well. But your bot lane's been struggling, and I think the big part of that is your draft is kind of terrible.
Dog what?
Yeah. It's not been good. Really move away from the set for CBL. Get him back on Leona. Get him on something he can make these hard engages on. Get him on something he can find these picks on. Because the set, like, he hasn't played a bad set necessarily, but it's not his strength, and it's the pick itself hasn't really given, and Team Secret hasn't really had a lot of agency in their drafts because they've been moving away from these drafts. Moving away from these picks for CBL, rather.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think you need to get CBL back on Comfort. He's been very quiet this series, despite being a player we're very, very hyped for on Secret. And at the same time, Slater. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Team Secret should be back on Blue's side in this draft. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys.
They get choice, and history has suggested people are picking red sides. So,
well, I actually think they should pick Blue and first pick Kai'Sa, if they can. Get Slater on Comfort. Seriously, he's looked pretty bad this series. His Xayah was pretty terrible. The Jhin in game 1 was okay, but I still don't think it's a very Slater champion. He's meant to be the best ADC in Vietnam, and he's not playing like it at the moment.
I mean, Ezreal's garbage. That's why Slater's fallen off a cliff. His power level is tied directly to Ezreal. No, it's just it is really upsetting to see him struggle like this when he's meant to be so good. I don't know what to do. I don't know what they can really do because it's not like his Xayah historically has been bad. I don't know. Get him on comfort. Get him on something he feels he can carry really hard on. Maybe not necessarily a meta pick. Maybe he goes to the Ezreal. Probably shouldn't, but because Ezreal's in a really bad state.
We are heading into Champions Select though, so we will cut over to that. But Rebel, I'm sure you have something to say to respond.
Yeah, I was curious because you two certainly know quite a bit more about the history. Do you know Slater to be a Vayne or a Tristana player? Because I know in Eastern regions, a lot of the time, if you're picking Kai'Sa blind, they do punish with some of those picks every then and again. At least two that pop up from time to time. They're not very, very widely used, but they're at least sometimes a response pick to something like blind Kai'Sa, which doesn't matter because we're in Cerberus too. Okay.
It's not something we've seen Slater do. Cerberus has gone onto the blue side, presumably Team Secret picked red. They banned the Udyr out. They just don't want to deal with him again. Very, not unwise, I think. I think that makes some sense. Lucian, Camille, and then the Kai'Sa will be hitting the ban list. I think the biggest weakness we're seeing out of Team Secret so far is they don't play Aphelios. Just go if they can be R1, R2 Aphelios Thresh here. I think they have a very good chance to win this game. If they can't, they're struggling.
And it's not like Slater can't play Aphelios. He's played it in the past. He actually has a decent win rate on it as well. So if you just snap Thresh Aphelios here, you have a decent bot lane that Slater can carry on in theory. Plus you have one of CBL's best champions. You can just try and stick Coated on a Norn or something if you want that hard engage, or get something in the jungle like the Gragas. Finally get to see CBL's Thresh. Finally. Don't disappoint me, CBL.
I think this is very good. I'd love to see the Aphelios locked in here as well. I am trying to catch up a little bit. I think I'm behind, so I hope the lock-in hasn't already happened. Nope. Xayah again. Okay, fine. Thresh Xayah is still a pretty good lane. I would have much preferred Thresh Aphelios.
Yeah, I don't know why VCS is suddenly crutching on this pick out of nowhere. Because like I said, I've favored it because I think it's good in very specific matchups, but to just blind it widely, especially with things like Samira is still available. We still have Aphelios available. There's no Kai'Sa, but you can still pick plenty of other ADCs that are very, very strong right now.
Yeah, the complete lack of Samira priority is really something. In this series.
It's very, very strange. The Seraphine is still open if Cerberus want to go back to that one. They will go back to Yado's Orianna, which makes sense, and the Renekton for Pun. Okay, give him a strong lane matchup. Try and let him hold his own against Coded, which he's been doing fairly well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Narlock-in or something from Coded if they want to go back and give him a decent matchup. Again, I would like a tank or something that in at least one of the top jungle positions. There's not. So there is some form of engage, but you have to play around that Nabbar extremely well to get it.
First 5 levels are also insufferable on this Gnar, especially since you have a Lilia who could be clearing from bottom straight into top side, and then going to gank this Renekton lane, it could be a big problem.
Sorry, we're just watching
the
bird off screen. But we see the Akali taken away from Artifact. Understandable if you're Cerberus. You don't want Artifact back on that pick. And Team Secret do not want Huber back on the Seraphine either.
I think that makes sense. Huber, make him show something else. I mean, he's obviously going to have more than one pick ready, but force him to show it. Let's see what the final ban is here. Wouldn't be surprised to see another mid laner. I mean, he can play Seraphine, he can play something. Let's see what it is. It is going to be the Yone ban. Okay.
I don't mind this. It's a pick. I mean, it might be something Artifact's been pulling out in scrims. It's something that has good access to the backline. DNK getting this Graves means he has something he can, again, keep up with the Lilia in terms of farm. I like that for that factor, but we are still missing that hard engage option for Team Secret, and likely not going to get it because there's only a mid lane left.
Yeah, DNK does love his Graves. He was one of our better Graves last split, and it's going to be the misfortune. They considered the Aphelios, but they've gone for the teamfight ADC instead. An interesting decision, and Huber looks towards the Leona.
That's a kill lane.
Locked in. Yep, that is a big old kill lane. I really like that pick. And how does Team Secret round this one out?
They need magic damage severely. Yeah, okay. The Twisted Fate's a little low on magic damage, but at minimum you'd have the ability to attack the rest of the map. The curiosity to me, though, is, again, you've already drafted strong bot lane here for CES on top and bottom, and so who exactly are you attacking with this Twisted Fate? You're going to need a severely good laning phase. Like the laning phase itself, played out by each player, is going to have to be so much higher with this Twisted Fate to get some impact, because, like I said, level 1 through 5 for Gnar into the Renekton matchup, really insufferable. Bottom lane should be CES favored very heavily throughout most of the laning phase. Like, it's not going to be an easy place for Artifact to find some plays.
However, there is a lot of follow-up CC. Plus, if the Bilgewater duo decides to sort of go deer hunting in the jungle, they can easily blow up a Lilia. There is a lot of follow-up CC in the side lanes, though, to finish my point that I sort of self-distracted myself on. So, Gold Card into Thresh Hook, into Flay, into Blade Caller, should easily lock down a kill on an MF or something. There's not a lot of peel that comes out of the Leona, especially against three players, so should be able to pick up kills in that regard, but yeah,
the second this game goes to team fights, Cerberus wins. There is no team fight cohesion in this Team Secret comp. They have good pick. They have, you could potentially get a few kills early in the lanes if DNK paths smartly, if they use the Twisted Fate ultimate. But if there is a team fight in front of Baron, unless Cerberus is 10,000 gold down, they have Orianna, Lilia, Leona, and MF. What does Team Secret have that works in a team fight? Nothing.
If they're lucky, nah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe Xayah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like a very bad draft for Team Secret. But of course, this is the VCS, so the bad draft wins. Pro tip. Rebel, give us your last thoughts and a prediction, and then we'll chat to you again after this game.
I'm going to say one thing, just that I would have preferred Nautilus over the Leona, but I still think CES's composition's better. They're my guess to take the 2-1 in the series, so I'm not going to back down from that now. It's 2-1 for CES.
Yeah, I think you might have made a good prediction before we started there. Is it looking pretty likely?
Yeah.
Vinny, let's get going. It's our last cast of the night, my dude, and we need to do it well.
Do we though?
Anything interesting?
We could just evolve into nonsense like normal, but
true.
Realistically, if you're Team Secret, looking at how they want to play out their comp, when it comes to those team fights, they are going to need excellent vision to try and find these picks. With the, I am apparently making too much noise as someone's knocking on my roof. They are going to need to play. They're going to need to play very well use vision very well around these team fights. They're going to need to work to get these Destiny gates off to try and find picks before team fights happen. Because once team fights actually break out, if it's a pure 5v5, they should just straight up lose. So unless Artifact completely smurfs the early game and gets them off to a super high gold lead, it's not looking good the longer this game goes for Team Secret.
Exactly. I think these early Twisted Fate ultimates are going to be where we have to watch very, very closely, as they are going to sort of set the tone of if Team Secret really has a chance in this one. Team Secret really needs to win this series as well. They are off to such a horrible start in this split. They need to bounce back quickly because things can get out of hand very, very fast. We could very quickly see their split getting off to just basically ending before it ever really starts is what I was getting at.
And Team Secret's schedule is a little bit messy this split because they don't actually have another game this week, so they don't get, if they lose here, they don't get to show anything or try again until next week. So really, really need to pull out a win here if you're CBL. That was a bit rough, but
that's a bit ugly.
Nothing really lost. Bit of damage both ways, so it's alright.
Having a bit of an invade here could actually find a blue buff, but the smite is good from Zuhao to secure that. He's going to throw those shots in. He's going deer hunting, steps forward to dodge the sweet spot, but Zuhao will just back off. Yado. Oh dear, DNK has to flash. Oh, but there's a flash follow-up, and DNK is in so much trouble. He goes down, Yado secures the double buffs, and it's already looking bad for Team Secret as Coded has to hop away, mourning his jungler.
Yeah, that's gonna set Zuhao up extremely well in this jungle. He's gonna be able to pick up the never mind.
Down on the bot side, Slater does have to burn that cleanse. Huber really, really wanted this, and the supports just kind of forgot about their ADCs there for a bit, as Artemis just ran down Slater. Now Artifact arriving, will be able to get a kill. Oh no! Disaster as he gets the double. CBL will get one back. He's going to duel Huber now, but no mana on the Thresh means he should just peel away. He's trying to charge up that Flay auto attack, and now his jungler has arrived, and oh god, this is so painful. DNK will get a kill, but good god, that couldn't have gone any worse for Team Secret.
Oh god, yeah, my stream lagged out a little bit.
After game ones in Team Secret series, put your phone away. You tweeted again. I saw your tweet. Stop it. Let's get a replay here, though.
Fantastic play out of... I'm so far behind, but there we go. There's the replay.
CBL missed a point-blank hook. That's really tragic.
Oh, how do you do that,
CBL?
Okay. Yeah, just... misplay out of CBL, plus some
Artifact as well. Why did he run that far forward?
Yeah, and then on the back half, just excellent play out of Hugh. He has really come in and saved this Cerberus roster, and CBL is able to kill Artemis. DNK is able to come down and kill Huber, but Hugh picking up that extra kill on CBL, Artifact teleporting in just to die. It's overall a 4-for-2 trade, and a 3-for-2 trade because DNK was killed in the top lane. But and going back to that DNK kill, his pathing decision was really poor. He needed to go into that flash in towards the Baron pit so he could E back over the wall. Instead, he just sort of flashes basically half a foot, so Pun is still very easily able to get
Zenith Blade lands. Huber wants to go in again, getting a bit of trade. It's not going to really result in anything, though. And this bot lane is just such a disaster now. That was 2 kills going over to Artemis and just 1 assist to Xayah. So even though, a 3-for-2 doesn't sound disastrous, it is when 2 kills go to the enemy ADC and your ADC got nothing. It's going to get a dragon for Cerberus, and Team Secret is already at the bottom of the bloody Marianas Trench.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard for them to fight their way out of it, especially when the fact they have really not very good scaling. DNK tries to sort of cross map, but he's spotted out on a ward. He can't get anything done from that. It's looking real rough for Team Secret. They're going to have to really rely on Artifact making plays around the map. Maybe letting Coated once, now that he's sort of level 6, be able to push in and bully Pun and just be the better player that he's been for most of this series. But it's this bot lane is so far in the hole. Sure, Slater does scale individually very well on the Xayah, but as a whole, their composition does not. So,
Oh, there
You
is going to
can't
be an
even
engage,
rely on
though. The Twisted Fate ultimate's used as well. This actually could be a big turnaround, as they are on top of Huber, doing a lot of damage. They will eventually take him down. He's not even dead. He's not dead, dude. Slater's going to die. Huber's not dead. This is... Oh, my... He's not dead. He's not dead. He's not... He's not...
Shuhao's not dead. FF, go next. There is no next. Can we just go home? Go to sleep? Because oh boy, if I'm Team Secret, I'm tilted off the face of the earth. Pun is now forcing Coated back from his tower, but not being able to pick anything up there. Now Yado's teleporting into this top lane. They're going to dive Coated. Just the stun's going to come down. Oh no, the double hop is going to get him quite far, but there's no, he is actually going to get away with the flash. There's no follow-up. The flash is still down.
Can we not have a replay?
The replay starts off really well, but they just either underestimate their damage, or rather they just think, oh yeah, Hugh's going to die.
Oh, we come back to live, and DNK is dead. This is a disaster for Secret. Slater is here for the cleanup, though. Lantern comes out. A gold card is ready as well. They should be able to kill Pun. Oh, don't misplay it, please. Oh, thank God. Slater got the kill.
Okay, that is gold back in the hands of the Xayah. Yeah, we see Yado actually is caught out on this top side, but with Pun able to come in and clean up for Yado's mess, he is doing really well for himself. Yado actually has a lot of kills as well, so he's pretty tanky. Slater coming on the back had made the roam first with CBL, so they really were trying to get out of the lane, which made this play in the end go in the favor of Team Secret. But as we come out, Artifact's
dead. Oh my word. This is
really, this is sloppy as hell.
This is terrible, but from Team Secret. What is going on? This is horrible. This has happened to Team Secret before. This was something me and Yue used to talk about all the time last year, is that Team Secret, if they lose a close game in like a game 2, the game 3 is going to be an absolute joke. And it's frustrating because it's been true for like a year and they still haven't been able to fix it. It's like, what is Artifact doing?
Yeah, Artifact.
Why are you walking up to stop the enemy jungler killing a ward? You're just an idiot.
He's walking. Yeah, I don't know. He's walking that way for some reason. I think he was lulled into a bit of a false sense of security because he had team members in that side of the jungle, but they were actually way too
have a
far
play
away.
here, though. They are going to go in onto Yado. This one is a little bit better executed. Artifact has to burn the stopwatch, but that's actually a pretty small price to pay. As they do manage to fight back, and it's only a 1.2k gold lead somehow.
Really well played from Yado, though. Getting that shockwave to drag Artifact directly under the tower means he takes so much extra damage. Nearly goes down if not for that stopwatch. Xayah on the top side has set up what appears to be a bit of a freeze, which should be able to get her back into a fighting position in terms of relative itemization with the Misfortune. She's already picked up quite a bit of CS. She's picked up a couple of kills for herself as well, so she is at least on Gale Force. MF, of course, stopping for those boots along the way has slowed picking up that mythic a little bit, but I think also she's just sitting on quite a bit of gold and is going to be able to pick that back on her next back very easily. There's Dragon is spawning. Team Secret absolutely cannot contest this, and they absolutely should not either. DNK is going to poke his head in, just make sure it's happening. Shuhao's
Coded in some trouble. He's going to get sent to sleep. DNK charging forward actually gets the collateral damage. This is a good turnaround from Team Secret, particularly with CBL arriving to throw the hook. Coded needs to charge the rest of this Narbar, but he's not going to be able to do it in time. It's a 1-for-1, but Huber gets the kill. CBL with a nice flash to get away from the Solar Flare. Team Secret, they're not dead yet.
Yeah, it's also the jungler going down, so it does mean Cerberus aren't willing to turn that directly into a dragon because Flash Force from Artifact, good shockwave from Yado, but Pun has an Iron Spike whip and some boots, and he's decided DNK should not be living.
Slater up on the top side. He's trying to 1v1 Artemis, trying to catch him before he backs for the Mythic, and does it successfully. Good work out of Slater, reading the item timing very, very well, and Coded TP'd in to block off Pun.
Yeah, fantastic response from Coded. Sees that teleport coming in from Pun and responds immediately to make sure his AD carry is able to walk away with the victory. That does mean, however, the reset comes in from Shuhao. He's back on the map. They're going to pick up this dragon. That's about all that. I mean, Team Secret never had any right to that dragon anyway. That's gonna be extra gold for Slater. He's gonna utilize that.
Oh, what the hell?
Just Pun steps back at the wrong time, I guess.
Interesting decision making as the Rift Herald will charge her way into mid. Do a fair bit of damage, won't take the tower though, as CBL and Artifact are there to clean her up. More gold in the pockets of Cerberus leaves us to about a 1,000 gold lead, which honestly is much, much better for Team Secret than they should have. The problem is that they still can't team fight with this comp. They need to be ahead. They can't be even. They have to be ahead. As we do see a replay of this top lane 1v1.
Yeah, that's just a really nice flash blade caller. Artemis tries to flash out of it, but ends up flashing on top of Slater, so still gets stunned up.
And Gale Force made the difference.
Yeah, Gale Force did make a difference. Those blades that came out of the dash were what was needed to get that execute off onto Artemis. And we saw DNK was just hanging out under tower on 30% health. So Pun just got that free kill. Not respecting the damage that can come out. And Pun has a 2-level lead over Coded. Yep. So that's something.
That is something. DNK as well has a pretty big lead over Zuhao, at least in terms of itemization, as he has finished his Gale Force compared to no Mythic on the Lilia, as he has picked up those 3 kills. So Team Secret definitely still have strong points. The problem is just linking them together in a way that actually wins them a game or wins them a team fight. I'm still not 100% sure how that happens, but if any team can prove me wrong, it's going to be Team Secret. Or will Cerberus keep on going? DNK sliding into this brush up here. There's actually both junglers giving attention and a teleport. Sleepy time for Nah. He gets absolutely detonated. And DNK has to just back off. He just got Crocodile rocked. And now DNK could be in some trouble, but the Gale Force gets him away from that ball.
Yeah, so Renekton coming up and showing that he is the true prehistoric creature, the true god of the ancient age, as Nah just gets wrecked. He went from about half health to 0 in 0.5 seconds, as Artemis is about to get dove.
Yeah, Artemis is in a lot of trouble. Another misplay out of him, really giving Slater a path back into this game. This Xayah should have been out of the game. She now has 4 kills, Vinny. 4 kills!
And it's Slater. Slater can carry. We have seen it many
He's
times.
been baited. He's on the hook. Reel him in, boys. That Graves was hook, line, and sinked by Pun there, the biggest of brains.
Yeah, DNK probably just broke his R button, because if he got that off, he probably would have traded 1-for-1 with Pun. But now Coded is being collapsed on by 4 people.
Coded is dead. Oh, good flash. Gets under the tower, but the shockwave will pull him back, and he's gone.
Yeah, both Shockwave and Solar Flare landing means one way or another he was going to die. Did about as well as he could, but it was never going to happen. However, that does mean there is a tower going up there. They were able to delay it long enough, so a tower goes down in the bot lane. So that's 2 towers to 1 overall, and Team Secret still clawing their way into this. But again, when it comes to the team fights, this draft difference is going to make a huge difference, as Juhao is caught. Oh, CBS!
Yeah, he is caught. They're hunting
him
him
out of
down. The hook doesn't land. Collateral damage. You know what beats deer? Shotguns. Lilia
Gun.
truly is Bambi's mum, running afoul of a big old gun. As Artemis is in some trouble down in the bot side. Coded an artifact powering through. There's the stun card. And they find him. They need a little bit more damage, but Artemis is going to get shielded and walk away.
Oh, no, Artifact. If you'd come in with the gold card at the start, that was probably a kill. Unfortunately for them, Huber is there in time to pop that locket and let Artemis walk away. That is going to result in a trade of a Rift Herald and a top lane tower for Team Secret, so they can get a little bit more gold into them. Well, no, it's not a trade. They just get to take it. They just get to take it.
They didn't kill Artemis, but they didn't lose anything. So Team Secret actually fighting back really well after a disastrous early game could actually begin to pull this gold even. They still have their issues of their comp not being super cohesive in team fights, but
they should push.
If they can fight back after the early game it was as bad as it was, they have a chance. But Ocean Soul Point is secured for Cerberus.
Yes, which means
it's a close game.
Which means in 5 minutes, Cerberus are going to get the situation where their team comp really comes to life and Team Secrets falters and falls over, because in 5 minutes they have to fight for that Ocean Soul. Otherwise, picks are going to be next to impossible for Team Secret. Team fights, 1v1 solo outplays are going to become are going to be even harder, and it's where Team Cerberus has all the chips on their side of the board. Team Secret has to work extra hard to bluff their way out of this one.
Production, can I just check your timestamp? Okay. I am somehow...
Like half a second.
I'm ahead.
Oh.
Can you let me know when you get to 1916? Perfect, we're back in sync. I thought I was ahead. 2021. Okay, cool. We should be back in sync. Sorry about this. It's just the constant tech issues that we can't fix because computers are expensive. Yardo is going to move up to secure himself a Gromp. Is farming up a Storm on this Orianna. Has been playing very, very well. 5 kills to his name. Shut up. Compared to the 0 kills for Artifact. But Artifact has been doing a good job roaming around the map, trying to start off some plays. Constantly trying to start fights, which is the VCS spirit. The Team Secret can continue to get back on their feet.
Unfortunately, we have said that Artifact did need to really make things happen, and he's made attempts, but most of the advantages have been either solo or near solo picks from DNK and Slater, really dragging this team into a comparable goal position, but they've had to give up so much in terms of dragon priority that now Cerberus can set up their fights whenever they want, well, every 5 minutes at the very least. So Team Secret has to work really hard to try and find picks at the perfect time to stop Cerberus being able to set up these dragons. So in about maybe 2 minutes, maybe a minute and a half, that's when you're going to need to see Team Secret really, really put this Destiny Gate to use and try and find a pick, preferably onto Zuhao, but any squishy target will do, because Huber and Pun are going to be really hard to pick off, in general.
They really, really are. They really, really are. We have gone into a little bit of a lull after such an action-packed early game. This mid-game has slowed right down, but I think in about 2 minutes we will have the big kickoff. With that Ocean Drake spawning. Cerberus will want it. Ocean Soul would, I think, just be lights out. It often is, but I think particularly in this game, it would be. So Team Secret will definitely have to fight hard to get it. And at the moment, they're actually not doing too bad on itemization. So their spikes are actually fairly in line.
Yeah, it would take some insane like G2 levels of macro outplay to win this game after Ocean Soul is taken, or like a godlike steal on the Elder Drake from DNK into a wipe up team fight, but it is very hard for them. Very hard to see where they come through in this fight and where they can try and find avenues back into this game. There's a minute until Drake spawns, so we've seen a bit of a reset, but it's only Hubus resetting by himself, so that would have actually been the perfect time. Unfortunately, Hubo is going to be out on the map now, so they kind of lost that window with that staggered back.
Yeah, they have a little bit. 40 seconds still on the clock, as Team Secret will be moving down to the bottom side of the river, presumably to secure some vision, secure positioning. If Team Secret can absorb the engage from Cerberus, they're in a pretty good spot. It's going to be difficult to do that. Yado pressing back now. 20 seconds on the clock. He has teleport as well. There it is. He TPs to the mid lane. It's going to be potentially a game-deciding fight at this dragon.
Curtin's sitting on a comfortable amount of Narbar right now, so if they want to start
perfect,
the fight, they will actually have the team fight version of Nar that you really want. Waiting for Pun caught out on the bot side, though.
Pun's really caught out here. Rocket Belt and the gold card. This Renekton should just get blown up. He goes gold. They're buying a lot of time. He actually manages to flash away, but he's effectively removed from the fight, and now he's truly removed from the fight. DNK gets away from the owner as well. A good start here for Secret. Can they keep it going? Artifact, a little bit low on mana. The sleep is used and gets absolutely nothing. I think Zhuhao was really, really overexcited there and just pressed his ult too early. It's DNK. DNK, this is a disaster, but the Lantern! Woo! Game of inches, my boys! As DNK, very low.
He is out.
Yeah, he can go hit stuff. This is going to have to be a full team fight as a hook lands onto Hubert, followed up. Oh, Coded is in so much trouble. He just goes down. Foolish, foolish man. That is a horrible decision as that Nar's been removed. CBL takes a lot of damage. Slater has to flash away. There it is. That is going to be the teleport coming in. Punch straight on top of Slater. The kill onto DNK. This is going to be Cerberus hard winning the fight, getting Ocean Soul, and it was just misplays out of Team Secret. Coated got lost, and Cerberus played it perfectly. They pick up that dragon. They're going to wander over to Baron, and it's hard to see them losing this series.
Yeah, they...
Apparently, according to production, our stream has also hit 6,000 followers, which we appreciate you guys for. We will say thank you. Thank you, everyone. We hope you're enjoying the show while we watch Cerberus just pick up a nice Baron, ride themselves into victory.
Yeah, slightly more interesting than the analysis I can put forth with that. Oh, as we go into the replay, this is actually fine. We saw Artemis waste a stopwatch, but Pun does not, buys quite a lot of time, ends up timing out a good chunk of this Narbar, and that means Kota has to work so hard to get back into it. Now, DNK is completely split off from his team, and instead of just trying to regroup, he ends up taking so much damage from Artemis. Doesn't end up going down immediately, but he is effectively removed from this fight. Coded is trying to build up Narbar on the other side, but he should be grouped with his team to do that, because it means, as my stream freezes, it means he's just in mini Nar form all by his lonesome, and he gets completely blown up. Then, yeah, they wasted so much time. Pun's back, he's able to come in and make sure Slater can't escape, and the entire team fight is just completely lost. That gets them Soul, that gets them Baron, that's going to get them more towers, that's going to probably get them the game. Maybe not now. Yeah. It's going to put them in a near unlosable situation.
A lot of people will point out misplays in that fight. I want to point one out that might fly under the radar. Slater got tagged by a Swirl Seed and just immediately altered to dodge the sleep. But the sleep wasn't used. He just wasted his ult. It did nothing. He was miles away from the enemy team. Pun is an absolute raid boss at the moment. That's it. Like, Slater, I don't know what happened to him from his from Team Flash to Team Secret, but there is a skill vampire. They're back. The skill vampires are back at GG Stadium. We thought we got rid of them. Didn't we get rid of them your way? No, they're back.
We did. We sent them to Team Secret's gaming house apparently, because that's where because the games are now online.
True.
But the great good ultimate from Artemis cleans up for Wave, forces Team Secret off the tower. That's going to be an open inhibitor. They can rotate into the top side after this reset. They're probably not going to. They're not going to have Baron buff for the next push, but they've created so much pressure on the bot side. They have such a high gold advantage. They have an Ocean Soul to work with, so they can probably just siege down these next few turrets. Definitely that one that's outside the base in the top lane. And then they just have to wait for another 3 or so minutes to make Team Secret have to come to them for yet another team fight that Team Secret cannot win.
Yeah, I don't think Team Secret can win any team fights now. They were already not favored. Even if the game was completely even, you'd still back Cerberus to win most team fights. But with Team Secret in as much of a deficit as they are, it is virtually impossible. You have to think Cerberus is going to get over the line here. And honestly, there are some pretty serious problems in the Team Secret camp at this point. Super disappointing start to the split for them. And it's just so frustrating because they have a good team. They sometimes show it. Sometimes they show it. Sometimes they play and you're like, yeah, this is a top 3, top 4 team. And then this.
Yeah, it's been really rough. And Cerberus just as a whole, now that they've got Zhuhao back in the roster, it seems, and even Huber to some extent, they have just a much cleaner idea of how to play the macro game. They have a much more level head, it feels. As again, my stream is struggling a little bit.
The game's not got too much left to go. As the push onto the inhibitor is coming in. The wave clear is pretty good out of Team Secret, at least for now. So,
yeah.
With
Sire and Twisted Fate, it's most likely that they're not going to be able to get a super effective siege in onto these towers. So they're going to have to wait for one of these objectives to really close out this game. But once they do, they will just walk it in. Probably.
Solar Flare is used, catches Slater, but he's safe. He uses the cleanse.
They could also just attempt a dive or something, but no, they're really going to need to wait for this Baron to start sieging or take this team fight as a wipe around Elder Drake.
Okay, DNK is actually sneaking in towards the Elder Drake, or towards the Dragon Pit at least. At least trying to get some vision established. He is spotted. But at least they will have a ward. This is last chance saloon. If they can win this team fight and get an Elder Drake, well, we know what Elder Drakes can do. But it would have to be a big mistake out of Cerberus to let that happen. But here we go. 10 seconds away from potentially the final objective spawning.
Hun could be caught out again, but it's going to be even harder to kill him this time. So definitely going to have to be careful with what they do. Team Secret has the better position for this Elder. But if Cerberus engages, they are probably done for. Coated having to play super careful with their Nabar. They're trying to activate it with Poke.
Oh.
Yeah.
He gets absolutely smashed. He will be able to go Big Nar and get some more health though.
But that's the Nabar gone. He has to rebuild that from scratch or make an engage in the next 3 seconds, which he is not going to be able to find.
There's the Twisted Fate ult. They're actually recalling one. They're going to try and go on Pun. I think that's a huge mistake. He makes so much distance up.
Oh, that's a disaster.
We have the Dragon. Coded gets caught out. The sleep won't land onto Slater. He goes into the ultimate, but Pun is on top of him. The exhaust is good though. The Blade Caller does a lot of damage, and this is it. This is the final fight. D&K from the side lands decent collateral damage. Slater trying to kite away. It's a good flash away from the shockwave. He's desperately trying to run, but they clip that bird's wings. Huber doesn't go down as well. Artifact went for the red card for maximum damage. Didn't do enough. It's a triple kill for Misfortune, and Cerberus are charging forward. There's a TP into the base. Pun is already there, and Cerberus is going to take this game at 32 and a little bit minutes. And oh my word, Team Secret were completely outclassed in this game. Coded is trying so hard. No, the Winhib is not going to do nearly enough as the towers are firing. Oh my. Cerberus have come to play here in that Game 3. It was a messy series. It was not the best display of League of Legends, but it was a lot of fun. And in the end, that's more important. We are going to go, assuming production's not going to yell at me, we are going straight back to our analyst desk. Rebel, what was your take on Game 3 and the series in general?
Game 3 was super dominant coming out from Cerberus, which was phenomenal. And again, it's out of these players we didn't really expect. Pun had a good performance. They were kind of playing around him in the earlier stages of the game. You had Hugh, who was doing some phenomenal work in the bot lane. And I think there were 2 or 3 just super big highlight plays out of Leona alone, which aren't the players that we were expecting to really come out and kick some ass, to be quite frank, here for the side of Cerberus. Yeah. But here they are, kind of just dominating the side of Team Secret with these relatively newer players. Gotta love that fact.
Pretty ridiculous. Huber is a massive shock to come out and play as well as he did. He's just not been a very good player for the longest time, but hey, if this is where he succeeds, I'm happy to see it. Vinny, what's your take? And then we'll wrap tonight up.
I'm annoyed because I did a last minute change to Secret, and I really shouldn't have. But
the Secret train now. I'm totally off the train.
I think we saw a little bit of sort of what we wanted out of Slater towards the end there. That last team fight, he played it really well, but it was just way too late. Just way too late. In the end, Rebel is the prophet. He had faith. They came through for him. And it was people like Huber, it was Zhu Hao coming back to the roster and really shoring up their macro from week 1. And I mean, that's to be expected. Zhu Hao's a veteran compared to Fook One, definitely.
Yeah.
So we have to. And if Cerberus has that sort of macro with Zhu Hao, and maybe we don't see Ego. That's a scary thought. But we have to sort of look and say, what can the Cerberus roster do? Pun still needs work. How far can they go? Pun still seems to need work for the most part. Is Huber just better than Ron OP? That's weird to say, but
it is.
And they came out swinging this game. They played really well.
That they did. So Cerberus did take that 2-1 victory over Team Secret in a cracker of a series. I had a lot of fun. I hope everyone out there did as well. I'd like to thank my analysts and, of course, my co-caster for being here today. Rebel and Vinny, we always love having you here, and we'll see at least one of you again tomorrow. We hope we see everyone in chat again tomorrow. If you are enjoying the show, come join our Discord. It's very, very active. We're there all the time, chatting and just, talking crap and making memes. You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook. I think we have an Instagram. I've lost track of how much social media we have. That's how much work our social media team puts in. As well, if you want to support the team, particularly the broadcast team, please do consider donating to the stream or following us on supporting us on Patreon. We can't keep doing this for free. We're really running on empty. We'd really need some fuel. So please help out. Every dollar counts. Thanks very much. And with that, I will bid you all a good night. I hope you enjoyed it. I really sincerely do. And I hope to see you again tomorrow. Good night, everyone.
days of the early suns. Through walls of lost belief, laid waste and buried deep. Summer to be set to fall. But there's no fear that lives inside this soul, yeah. Inside this world, there is no way not to forgive us. I'm done. Deliver up the simple and the same as of the innocent. That lives below breathes the flames from the dying suns, and lives to wake the dying ones, the dying inside this world. There is no way not to forgive us. I'm done. Deliver up the simple and the same as of the innocent. It's